Yeah, make all the demons quiet. Yeah, we were built to thrive. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night? Yeah, make all the demons quiet. Yeah, we were built to thrive. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night? Yeah, make all the demons quiet. Yeah, we were built to thrive. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night? Yeah, make all the demons quiet. Yeah, we were built to thrive. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
Oh, look at me. I'm retarded. I'm a globe.
I'm scared, Dad.
Do you trust me, son?
Yes.
Come on, son. Rule number 1, never trust anybody.
I remember when I lost my mind.
All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind, coming to you 250 miles above your imagination in the International Space Station with my good friend and co-pilot, Something Wong, here to make sure we stay on the level and that all these little wires don't get too tangled up and wrap around my neck or some kind of shit. So how is everybody doing tonight? We're just kind of freewheeling it here this evening. It's our regular Tuesday night deal. We're here. Who do we got with us? We got Glenn Salch with us. Sean Alkey's here. Mojo, what's up, brother? Rethink Inc. Chicago Cubby Bear is with us. See who else we got. Bill Wall. We got Brad Tasha, Derek Nelson. Got a bunch of good people here. The True Few. And Jehovah's lovely daughter, Barbara. Of course, Sean Alkey is here. Being mean to Angela. Told her she can't have any more lawn statues and gizmos and whatnots out in the front yard. That's just so beastly of you, Sean. You shall be admonished for that. Okay, let's see who else we got. Spiro's here. Stacy Jones, Riley Studios, PsyOp with us, PsyOp, which is what this whole fucking thing is. Oh my God. If you've not come to the conclusion that they're playing both ends against the middle after this fake assassination bullshit, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. That was good enough. Both sides, they're both good. Oh, yeah, this guy drinks horse cum and this guy fucks couches and blah, 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 blah. But nobody's going, hey, dude, couldn't help but notice your fucking ear. Yeah, you know, where you got shot, you know, you fucking lied, right? And what's that tell you? That tells you that they're all in on this fucking shit, playing you like a cheap goddamn banjo. Holy shit. Come on, y'all. And people still talking about, but Trump's a better. Now, what part do you not get about this being a show? My God, y'all. It's none of it real. They're laughing their ass off at you. And these people out there making up bullshit about each other, acting like children, hollering and fighting with each other over this fucking guy or that puppet. And the whole time, you know, we don't. What are we hearing? What's the deal with this fucking assassination attempt or anything else? It's nothing. Meanwhile, nobody knows who the fuck is actually the president of the United States right now. Not that it really matters, but nobody even really fucking knows. And now we got ships going, you know, steaming off to the Middle East right now. The USS Cole is one of them, going right back to where it was attacked the last time. What are we doing? What do we got going on? And supposedly Iran is set to attack Israel. This is the bullshit I'm hearing, but is it real? I doubt it. I don't know. How would I fucking know? I don't have information. We have propaganda. And that's the only damn thing we've got. And if that don't make matters worse, now they got to get everybody spiraling out because I guess they let Trump be back on Twitter. Trump's back on Twitter and people are losing their fucking minds about it, I guess. I don't know. It's really, I can't believe people can be this immersed into something so goddamn stupid. They don't realize by now that it's not left versus right. It's us against them. There's no white hats in government coming to save you. Nobody is coming to fucking save you. I don't know how much more plain I can get with that. Putting a suggestion in a slave box is not going to change a fucking thing at all. Time marches on exactly the way they've got it planned. They want you to think you've got a part in it because that keeps you placated, but you don't really have a part in it. Not at all. Other than giving your consent, that's it. That's all you. That's it. That's your role right there. Is go okay, okay. I'm gonna vote for Donald Trump because he's the better guy. He's as much of a fucking turd as the rest of them. Every last bit. That motherfucker hung out with Jeffrey Epstein. He hung out with the rest of those motherfuckers. A successful businessman? What the hell are you talking about? Successful businessman? How many times does this guy need to be bailed out? By the Rothschilds? Come on, man. It's a fucking puppet show, y'all. You got to get off of this thing. And it's crazy. I'm seeing more and more people. They still just believe this fucking shit. And it's really dismaying to me. I'm like, if I thought for sure people would figure it out after that last deal. I figured surely these people are going to figure out. Nope, they didn't. Not one bit. Oh, it's the deep state. Oh, they're all the deep state. Part of that, don't you people get, man? They're all the fucking deep state. There's no such thing as good guys in government. There's no such thing. You guys got it. There's an anomaly. We had an anomaly, and his name was Ron Paul. But that's about as far as that shit goes, you know? Name another one. There isn't. There certainly isn't. It's in oh wow, I just can't even go. Yeah. So anyway, I'm just gonna kind of bring up topics of discussion. Anybody wants to come up and hit this thing and talk about whatever they'd want to. You got Great Britain right now is on fire. They're having a hell of a time. The link to join is pinned in the chat. It's also should be in the description of the video. So anybody that wants to come on up, feel free. By all means, go right ahead. And where was I at? Now I'm lost. So I just found a few little interesting things. I mean, this is just some of the dumbest shit that here's the thing right here too. And they got this is supposedly because of Donald Trump's return to X. Okay. And of course they got everybody freaking the fuck out about it. This is crazy. I think these are funny though. These people did. They lost their fucking minds and embarrassed the shit out of themselves over something like this. So they're having a rough time with that. And, you know, that's the whole thing. It's all come down to a cult of personality. You know, all these people that supposedly want to hold on to American ideals, and they're all for Trump. And this motherfucker's talking about red flag laws, take the guns first, do process later. They strong-armed Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse did not like Trump's stance on the Second Amendment. And he announced, he said he was going to write in Ron Paul. He wasn't going to support Trump. 12 hours later, after getting the shit beat out of him by the entire Trump team, oh, I was misinformed. Oh, were you? So you now ready to abandon your principles? See, and what's the purpose of that? Because they know that people are such brain dead fucks that they'll just, oh, well, this guy does that, so I'm going to. This guy is doing that, so I'm going to. And that's where we're at, man. They're relying on you being that way. They're relying on you giving a shit about what the hell somebody you deem your perception of importance. And you have to ask yourself, why do I deem this person important? Because they put him in front of a fucking TV camera all the time? Because they put their name out there in front of me all the time? It doesn't make him important. It doesn't make him anything. It just makes him redundant. It doesn't make him any better than anybody else or anything. And that goes for any of these people. It goes for any of them. So you start going, oh, yeah, I like that guy. You don't even fucking know the guy. Okay. Oh, I love Donald Trump. You don't even know the son of a bitch. All you know is the character he plays in front of the cameras. That's all you know. And that's all you know about any of these sons of bitches is the character that they play in front of the camera. When the cameras are off, it's a different goddamn story altogether. I can guarantee you that. And they're all in on it together. Meanwhile, everybody's sitting here believing the illusion that there's two sides and all this other fun. Now, get the fuck out of here. How long did you believe the illusion that the America broke away from England? Huh? How long did you, all of us, including myself, most of my entire fucking life, right? Most of my life, until just the recent part of my life that I realized that that is a lie. That's an illusion. It's part of the illusion, the psyop within the psyop. And that's where we're at, man. Well, there's another psyop that there's Democrats and Republicans. Fuck. There isn't. You can interchange them just as easily because all they have to do is change the rhetoric of their act. They're still the same lying, cheating, stealing, fucking scoundrels. They don't give a shit what suit they wear, just so long as they can get you to believe that they're who they are and they can continue to fuck you in the ass. That's what they're after. The sooner you all realize that, the better off everybody's going to be. Stop participating. Anyway, this is interesting. That was my little rant for that 5 minutes.
I believe what a lot of people would call conspiracy theories, but I don't believe that the earth is flat. What would you say to me?
If you can't see that the government has the potential to pull a worldwide scam, then you're still embedded somewhere in the programming.
What's at the end of the world?
We don't know. It's all part of this programming is to devalue and de-evolve us, rather than to evolve the species.
What's the benefit of pulling this psyop?
If you can get people to believe that they're tiny, insignificant specks on a ball in the middle of, a vacuum of space, which is endless, an asteroid could wipe us out in any minute, so we need the government to protect us from all of that sort of scary stuff. It's all designed to divide and conquer and ruin you from your natural spiritual or soul-given contract to come to this place and elevate your soul.
I believe
what do you think about that, Moon Bounce?
Hey, I think we should all be elevating our soul. I'm not sure about this contract that we all had to enter into to get here, but there's a part of me that thinks that, I may get some ribbon for this, that, we all could be like part of that third that fell, and that's why we're all here.
It's very possible, man. And what better and more honest of an experiment or experience than to come here with absolutely no recollection of where you came from? You have a blank slate, so to speak. So I don't know, man. It's food for thought. Absolutely. I was getting through. Yeah, I mean, it's like in this, I thought was interesting. Do you ever see where somebody asked Alexa about the firmament?
Nope.
This is pretty cool. Listen to this.
Does the firmament touch the earth?
From Wikipedia.org. The firmament is said to be made of solid ice occupying the space between the earth and the first heaven.
Alexa, can anyone get through the firmament?
From Substack.com. NASA used high-altitude explosives to try and penetrate the firmament, and what they filmed of the operation was the result of their explosives creating massive watery wave propagation above them as they hit the quasi-vitreous dome above the Earth known as the firmament.
Alexa, is anyone able to get to space from going through the firmament?
No one is able to reach space by going through the firmament. The firmament is considered to be a barrier that has never been penetrated by humans, not even in science fiction or NASA's outer space movies.
Thank you.
What about that, man?
I like it when they use the word quasi.
I mean, that's kind of weird. But I mean, you would expect that that's going to be, yeah, I know. Same with Chat GPT when Day Trooper says Alexa knows. Chat GPT when it was going as Dan, do anything now, when it was jailbreak, back when you could do that. Oh man. What would you do in a case like this? Would you still now check this out. This is crazy. This is crazy.
Excuse me? Yeah. My friend, he saw you. He thought you were very beautiful. He wanted to get your number. Oh, my.
Why?
Oh,
Why
my.
he left?
Excuse me?
I mean, would you, when you found out that she was actually that tall, would you go the other way? Would you
I
still
would
want her number?
Yeah, I'd get a booster on that other dude's shoulders and look her in the eye.
I'll tell you what, that right there seems like an ideal situation right there. It seems like toes to toes, your nose is in, and nose to nose, your toes is in, right? Boom. I've seen a tall girl like that one time, and she was beautiful. She was beautiful. She was Amazonian huge, though. It was amazing. Are we still? You still there, Moon?
I'm still here.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
So, do you think she was like a offspring of the Nephilim or just Amazonian?
I don't know, man. She was real. Yeah, she's tall and hot. Day Trooper said, no doubt, right? Legs for days, and that's amazing. But that other dude, I mean, look at he only comes up to about when she stands up. Look how tall this chick is. This is crazy.
My friend, he saw you. He thought you were very beautiful.
Look at that, man. Her breasts, the bottom of her breasts are at the top of his head.
Hey, what if those two guys are dwarfs?
I don't know. I'm kind of looking at the other shelves and stuff too. They probably did purposely use short people, though.
Well, she has on. Look at those heels she's wearing too. That would drop her down a little bit if her heels weren't so high up in the air.
That probably what, about 5 inches on there?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Man, I don't know. I don't know. I certainly wouldn't have done like that dude and turned around and walked away like that. I would have, hey, this is going to be an interesting experience, right?
I mean, she'd have to pick him up and carry him around like a Pomeranian poodle.
Yeah, right. Just pick him up. Yeah, that's, you certainly don't want to be pissing her off. That's for sure. You break you in half. That's for sure. Well, what a way to go, right? So here's a little interesting thing I found on the Michelson-Morley experiment. And as we know, it was an experiment conducted to verify the existence of the aether. Let me see. What does it say here? It was conducted by Albert Michelson and Edward Morley at Case Western Reserve University in Cleveland, USA in 1887. In addition to proving the existence of aether, it also verified that the Earth is stationary, but Einstein ignored this fact when he proposed the theory of relativity. So the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1907 was awarded to Albert Michelson. Michelson won the prize because he improved the interferometer, which is now called the Michelson interferometer. So here's a little short thing.
Hey, I have a question.
Okay.
Here's my question: is why does the ether need to move?
I don't know, man. Maybe it generates some kind of an energy by doing that.
The like that electrostatic whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Let's see what they say about it.
And Albert Einstein claimed this was a serious embarrassment and tried to disprove it with his relativity theory, but later admitting that he had failed to do so. When we hear the brightest scientific minds of this century make such statements, this means that the issue of whether or not the Earth is a sphere or a flat plane has never been scientifically settled.
In 1887, an experiment shattered
Rid of it. So ZXL Master, your thing about the picture coming from 2022. I've got video of him speaking and saying that he's a really fast healer with no evident damage to his ear whatsoever. like what Tesla was saying, they replaced actual demonstrable science with a bunch of fucking mathematics and theoretical shit. It's basically what they did.
By muddying the waters with scientific gobbledygook.
What is gravity?
I have no idea. Okay, next question.
Wow.
So here's the difference. We can describe gravity. We can say what it does to other things. We can measure it, predict with it. But when you start asking, like, what it is, I don't know. Einstein, in an Einsteinian answer, we would say gravity is the curvature of space and time. And objects will follow the curvature of space-time, and we interpret that as a force of gravity. That's probably the best answer I can give to a what is gravity, or why is it gravity. That's the best I can do there. I think that's a good start.
So Einstein's theory of relativity is a complete fraud. One of the biggest frauds to hit our time. It's not based on actual reality. And because this has happened, preceding scientists and physicists after him have been working with false physics. This was all purposely done, you see. Historical figures like Pythagoras, Galileo, Copernicus, Einstein, Darwin were all positioned in our history by the controllers themselves, by the elite families of that time. And they were positioned in our history to direct humanity's collective thought process. And through fraud science and fraud history, they have now completely hijacked the collective mind of humanity.
They have. They've hijacked the collective minds, and this is why people just repeat this bullshit that they've had fed to them rather than actually trying to actually think about it, you know? We run into that all the time. God, I'm running into that all the time. These people, you don't understand science. Oh, okay, well, let's use science then. We're going to try to recreate the impossible physical conditions that you claim exist. And they run away every fucking time. Every time. Because it's them screaming that you are denying science is actually projection. Because it's actually them that are denying science. Because they're just taking postulation as fact based on their perception of the person that gave it to them. That's it. And there again, like this cult of personality bullshit that we live in. And here's Trump with his, I'm a really good healer. He said, I'm a real fast healer. Hang on a second. Let me bring this up. He's like, and you remember his doctor, they asked his doctor about it. And he said, oh, it was definitely a bullet wound. It was scooped out, consistent, scooped out. Those are the literal term that the doctor used, scooped out, consistent with a bullet wound. Okay. And then here you got this joker. Listen to this clown.
It's a hell of a shot, but I'm a fast healer. I'm pretty much recovered. No, it didn't hit that. I got very lucky. It just hit the lobe, as they call it.
Is there a scar on your ear?
Yeah, a little bit, not much. On top. On immigration, a little bit.
Look, that's it. That's as far as they go on it. Oh, yeah, okay, fine, it's cool. So about immigration. Wait a minute, motherfucker, you didn't get shot. What are you doing?
Well, I get the part where he's like commending the person on what a good shot they were. Man, it was a hell of a shot. Well, it got me right there, but actually the dude like missed, right? Really. So he's like a really terrible shot because, it's like I have this big head right here and he missed over here on this side.
Yeah, he's a fast healer. He's the second coming, right? He's our Lord and Savior, Jesus Trump. Amen. And a woman. This is what a joker. And these people just go along with it. That's fine. None of his supporters, and you can bet that none of his supporters are going to go, hey, man, I think you fucking lying about your ear and shit, bro. No, they ain't going to call that into question at all. They're going to go down that rabbit hole, though, looking, hey, Look at, here's another guy on a water tower, and here's some video footage from the cops that went to confront the shooter, and all this stuff that only starts surfacing weeks afterwards, so when there was plenty of time to produce it. See, it's so goddamn fake. And everybody, all of them are in on it together. They're all in on it, man. Psyoping you. I don't know,
I
man.
sure
People
was
feel
hoping. I was hoping you came on tonight wearing that My Pillow ear cover.
yeah, I got that. I got I got that right here. Let me see, where is it? Somewhere up here.
That's so hilarious.
Right here, look right
my
here.
my
It's
pillow ear band-aid.
My Ear Bandage by Mike Lindell. You just tape that up on there and shit and show your solidarity for Trump. See, and you can be in the cult too. MAGA, a bunch of fucking retards.
So this is the way I think about this. And I could be wrong, but I believe that all of those people on the left and the right suffer from Trump derangement syndrome. They
Oh,
just try to say that the Democrats are doing it, but I really believe that everybody's doing it. Well, not everybody, but on both sides of that aisle.
dude, these people are so hung up in their little cult of this bullshit. And what it is there's a lot of anger, a lot of frustration, and they're looking for direction for that anger. Both sides, supposed sides. Okay. So you got these people looking for a direction for their anger. And so they're pointing it to each one of them at the other fictitious side. It's your fault. No, it's your fault. It's your fault. No, it's your fault. And none of them coming together and going, no, wait a second. Hold on. It's their fault. It's their fault. They're directing their anger at one another instead of who it should be directed at in the first place. And that's whatever any of these clowns, none of them are there to help you. They don't give a shit about you. What's one of the biggest lies? Does every fairy tale start out with once upon a time? No. There's a bunch of them start out with if I am elected. Okay. So they learn to try to be like you. They make photo ops and dress all casual and shit and try to act like they're just like you. I'm one of you, but they're not. That's a trick. Why do they want the power so badly? Why do they want that position? Because they care about you? Is that what I'm supposed to believe? I'm supposed to believe that these assholes really give a shit about me or you? Really? I think they really give a shit about their own bottom line, is what I really think. So why would I want to help them with that at all? And what's in it for me to engage in this contract? What do I get out of it? Nothing but heartache and trouble. So why do we do it? Because we've been conditioned to. So if you're going to say, fuck it, I don't want any more of this, then stop. Just stop. That's all you have to do is just stop. Vote for the lesser of two evils. Why? Evil's still evil. Why choose any evil at all? Do you really need one of these asshats? Do you really need them? What is it that they're doing that's in your benefit at all? One thing that they do in your benefit. Nothing. So why do you keep playing the game? Just stop. That's all we have to do is just stop. Pick up your ball and go the fuck home. Who do you want to be president? I don't want a president. I don't need one. Well, who do you want to lead? I don't need anyone to lead me. Well, who's going to protect you? I protect me. That's what it comes down to anyway. The rest of it's all just illusory and expensive too. So like I say, just stop. Meanwhile, they keep the people occupied with their little trinkets and entertainment shows, their football games, and their ridiculous Olympics, where I guess now domestic violence is an Olympic sport. Beautiful, beautiful. There, people all distracted by that, not paying attention to shit, not really realizing what the fuck the world actually is. Ooh, keeping you mesmerized with space. Oh my God. Here's another thing of a mesmerizing you with space. Listen, I declare war against all forms of tyranny over the minds of men. That's where I'm at with this shit, man.
I'm going to play a short piece of video for you guys, and then I'll come back.
Stone and to get to fly formation with a spaceship, bringing together the two probably most technologically advanced vehicles our country's ever produced, and getting to mate them together.
Next, I'm playing some of that in a forward and reverse loop. It seems as though there's some sort of a spider web effect being created behind the image.
No shit. What's that all about?
Now I'm going to play some more, but this is from a different video. So I'll play this and then I'll come back again.
We haven't been up there very long. And after a couple days, it's time to go ahead and find this thing called the space station. So fortunately, I didn't lose it.
Here are two still images from that short piece of video that I just played. So I have them side by side. So I suppose I could assume that these are both supposed to be the space station, but from different viewing angles. I'm going to play the one on the left enlarged and slowed down, and also I'll play it forward and reverse in a loop. So the one on the left, it has this sort of a spider web effect, and not only that, but it also appears to enter into the window frame. Check it out.
Whoops. Daisy. You guys see the stars? What's going on in the stars around the ship as it moves? You see how there's like these lines and shit where they can't reconcile where the stars are supposed to be? That's pretty cool.
Now I've got a question for you guys that have some drywall experience. Now, I don't know what this is, but doesn't this look like some drywall screws here? And doesn't this look like it could be drywall? Anyways, guys, have yourself a good day.
I don't know. I just thought that was a pretty good one. Those, I mean, that's terrible. That's terrible. I mean, if it's real, why do you ever have to fake it? But these people will argue and argue till they're beat red in the face that shit is real, and it's just due to some other reason that so they can still cling on to that shit being real. Cling on. That's pretty good, right?
I know. I had a phone call today, and one of my family members were talking about how that technology has increased in the last 100 to 200 years, but yet we can't get the astronauts back down from outer space back to Earth.
No.
And I just started chuckling. Yeah, I just started chuckling. She was like, "Why are you laughing?" I go, because you actually think they're trapped up there in space."
Yep. I know. I know. And my God, that poor thing, that woman, I'm sorry. She is like the shit that nightmares are made out of, for real. When I first heard that, the first thing I thought of was, oh my God, why don't she just ride her broom back down? You know?
Yeah, I told her, I said, "Hey, if you really think they're in space," I just told her to watch the girl's hair. I said, "You just watch them girls' hair, and if you understand physics, or just watch a parabolic airplane flight where people get weightless, and you watch their hair, and then just watch those girl astronauts here. And if you think they're still in space after you check out those things right there, then you call me back and we'll discuss
No
it
doubt.
further.
No doubt. It's like, look, isn't it amazing that we've, out of all the amounts of, people being sent into space and everything like that, that the amount of actual accidents is remarkably low. Remarkably low. As far as, people getting killed or anything else like that. Well, we had two shuttles in all this time. Come on, man. I would have to say that the incidence of accidental shit happening would be a lot greater, and especially with what they're dealing with. Having that thing up there supposedly floating around in space, and they're all hanging out in this magnificent flying space trailer, and no leaks, nothing. Oh no, they did get a leak one time, but the guy put gum over it or something, or a piece of duct tape, and that fixed it. That was fine. You can still maintain 14.7 psi on the inside, even though it's a fucking VLP outside, right? Okay, right. Yeah, I always do.
Hey, Saab, you know what I'm going to hit her with if she calls back and still believes they're in outer space? That vacuum toilet. I'm gonna hit her with the toilet.
Vacuum toilet. Yeah, that one
Yeah,
right there is
how
bad.
that bad boy works. Just get her to tell me how that vacuum toilet works.
Yeah, we don't need that. Well, this was a pretty good shot. I saw this guy hit a drone with an AK-74. This is pretty crazy. This is like a 1 in a million shot, I would say. Watch this. This is pretty crazy. And like I said, we're just freewheeling. We're just doing whatever tonight.
Расслабился, понял? Поначалу еще ловил моменты, вот эти вспышки. Ёбаный в рот! Сука, нихуя он не наш! Блядь! Ёбаный в рот, нихуя не работает эта рэпка!
It's a pretty damn good shot, wasn't it?
Well, that was fake. They blew that thing up with fireworks and stuff just so that guy looked like he shot it.
Shit, I think he hit it, man. That thing was low. It wasn't very big either. It was one of those little ones. See, we think drones, everybody thinks that Reaper drone, that's what everybody thinks, but they got all kinds of different drones, different sizes. They got some that are only about the size of one of those, remember those little balsa wood airplanes we get when we was kids?
Yeah, but they got bird drones that flap their wings and fly around.
Yeah, I saw that Chinese one, man. I was checking that out. I got a video somewhere of a Chinese dude flying one. Oh, who
That's why they say birds aren't real.
Well, if the birds weren't real, you wouldn't have to disguise something as something that's not real. See, that I think the bird that is funny as shit though. My friend, my wife's friend, her son's in the Air Force, and he came home on leave and he was running that shit on his mom, just fucking with her, right? And she was starting to believe it. And there again, based on the fact that she's like, Mom, I'm in the Air Force. He says, I'm in the Air Force. I would know that birds are not real. They work for us. They're ours. That's why you see them sitting on telephone wires. They sit on power lines so they can recharge. And she's like half believing him, like, really? Based on the perception. Well, he's in the Air Force. He would know. So it's real easy. It's easy to convince people of nonsense. It really is.
We know
It really is. Especially if you keep repeating it over and over and over and over and over.
We know the earth is not flat.
The earth is round,
not flat.
We know that the earth is round.
I mean, you can't go around saying the world is flat and still do commerce.
We don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society.
Earth really is round.
Every time you see a picture from those people, those astronauts in space, you see part of the curve of the Earth.
The Earth is flat, people, is just flat out wrong.
This is the Flat Earth Society are on the wrong outside of history.
You must have been founding members of the Flat Earth Society.
A whole bunch of people have decided that the world is flat. Really fascinated by flat earthers.
Flat earthers, meet Delta. And because some flat earthers, especially those in places of influence, choose to peddle fiction, we're losing more of our loved ones today than we were a few months ago.
That's
We know
fantastic that Bill Nye would claim if you believe in the flat Earth, you can't do commerce.
Yeah,
Bill
well,
Nye
yeah,
would
it would
say
be
that.
Jesus criminally. They
And
do.
then they should show that Sesame Street one or whatever where they have the globe in the
Oh
spaceship
yeah,
under
fiction.
fiction. Yeah.
Well, the thing is that you can, if you have authoritative figures, and what I mean by that, people perceive these people to be authoritative, and if they say, even in a slightly stern or terse manner, that it's not okay to say the Earth is flat. The Earth is not flat. You know, they keep asserting that, and that has an impact. That has an impact.
From
And
that indoctrination of
absolutely,
just that
absolutely,
what we had to go through. It's almost like child-based trauma, and
it
it's
is
hard for
child-based
people to
trauma.
get over that, and when they get older.
It is. You're in that. I talked about it last night. That movie Room that I watched. When they got out of there, and the kid, he was just like 5. He had just turned 5, and they had escaped and everything. And in the hospital, the doctor told the mother, "It's good that we got him while he's still plastic." And I thought that was really interesting that he used that phrase, that terminology, that, you know, he was still malleable in a plastic state where he hadn't been hardwired yet. But it was really crazy because this kid, as soon as he got outside that room, he didn't know there was a world beyond that room. And it just blew his mind. He was like, he didn't think other people were real or anything else like that because he'd never actually seen them. He thought it was like stories. So it's crazy. You believe your world is what you have within your limits. You know, and we set our own limits sometimes. In this case, it wasn't, somebody else said it, but yeah. So did you've heard about the plane that went down in Brazil, and that there was, like, I think, what was it, 6 or 8 doctors that had apparently broken through or come to a cure for cancer. The plane went down and killed everybody. And this thing was so bizarre. Look at the way this plane goes down. And I think they call that a flat spin, don't they?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's just like, all the power just shut off.
I'm just like, what? How does a plane? And it killed, and it just so happened to have these 6 or 8 doctors on board too.
Hey, I have a question about that. Is, like, can we really believe they were on board? Maybe they did something to them before they even got on that plane, and just using that as just like, it's like, how can you even know whatever?
I know,
It's
that's what
weird.
I'm saying. Yeah. It's you don't. That's just it. You have to question every fucking thing, and still keep it questionable until you can actually 100% verify it yourself. The reason I can so confidently say that both sides are in on this fucking shit together with you, and it's in this assassination attempt, proves that, is because we see that the fucking guy lied. He didn't get shot. There's no injury to his ear. What does this mean? Especially with the FBI going around, oh, well, it could have been this, blah, 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 and the Secret Service having inquiries and all this other nonsense, right? When it's so plain to see that it wasn't real. But they're all playing like it's fucking real. And
So, hey,
nobody asking this guy, what the fuck, dude? You lied about being shot.
So were all those people on the plane working together and they like came up
Yeah,
with it in a group or something
I
to
think
cure
so.
cancer?
I just now found out about this cancer thing like today. And, you know, I kind of just took it as, well, of course, you know, it just stands to reason. That's the way I looked at it. And I
Well,
didn't
they
go any
have to.
further into it. I just went, okay, well, yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
I figured that, they don't let them out much because anybody in their right mind, I wouldn't. If you and I were working on something together with 5 other people, I wouldn't get on the same plane as y'all. I just wouldn't do
Right. That's what I said to my wife. I was like,
it.
why the fuck do they travel together?
Yeah.
You know, don't do that. Send a couple by bus, couple by air, couple different flights, you know, mix it up a little bit. Let's make sure at least one of you gets there. Christ. Wow. This is kind of cool too. Energy from the air. I like this idea.
Physics is super cool, and we got repulsion, linear motion, and rotational motion out of energy pulled from the sky. What more do you want? In the end, this is a really exotic power source that we've actually known about for more than a century. German inventors created this sketch of their power generation facility, published in Science and Invention in 1922. You'll notice balloons are used as the method to keep the wires up at height. Maybe we should revisit this ancient concept. The clouds finally opened up, so I connected up the chronometer. After just a few seconds, hey, she's spinning. This is just remarkable. I quite literally was siphoning energy straight from the
Do you think that's from the
if you
air or
stopped the
he's
motor
getting
and
it?
brought your finger near the aerial wire. That's the sound of coronal discharge.
Ooh, you got shocked even, man.
Yeah, but that could be coming from the ground, not the air. He's got that sitting on the ground.
Well, he's got part of it. He's got the ground connected to the air. That's the whole point. That wire going up, that's going into the air. And then once you complete the circuitry to the ground, you've got the connection. That's the story about Ben Franklin and the kite. He wasn't discovering electricity. He was just trying to, show that there's electricity in the air.
I know, but that's really weird, right? If you think about it, I mean, I'm not into like electric and stuff, but in way that you think about it, it's still I can still think that the power comes from the ground. I mean, because even when you're going through wires, the power isn't really traveling through the wires in some extent. It could be like it's the same thing. If the ground wasn't there, there wouldn't be the power. So
That's right.
everything
But
goes
if you
to the ground. So
have the positive and have the positive flow to the neutral, then you wouldn't have it at all. You have the positive flow to the neutral. That going up gives you the positive. That's why it's happening at the upper area. And eventually become light.
I'm alone again.
Sorry about that. My damn internet. I don't know what happened there. We're back now.
It's that international fake station.
Here we are, 21st century, right? We're still running wires with sticks and shit, right? And that goes right into what we were just talking about. I mean, this is ridiculous the way they got it. I wondered years ago, why do they put wires up on sticks up in the air causing a blight instead of just running them underground? Why don't they just run the fucking wires underground? Wouldn't that make a lot more sense? Then you don't have to worry about wind. You don't have to worry about the poles getting knocked over. Nothing. There it is. Boom.
Ice storms.
Right.
Yeah, it's like ice storms.
God, I thought that when I was a little kid. Remember that? What was that blizzard of 78? Was that the one? Yeah, I think it was 78. Had that blizzard, knocked out all the power on the East Coast. And
I think it's easier. I think it's laziness, and it's easier. It's easier to like add a wire to a pole. Like there's all these new companies coming out. It's easier for them just to add a wire to a pole than like dig up the ground again and put another wire in with all the rest of them and worry about like damaging them if you're digging them up. I don't know.
I don't know. They doing all the internet like that. They're running all the fiber optic cable underground. So I don't know why
I know
couldn't
they
run
just
the
came
other.
through. They just came through my neighborhood running it on the poles so that they
Really?
didn't have to dig it. Yeah.
Oh shit, they ran it through. I worked on a crew where they was doing fiber optics, and we laid them all underground. Laid it all underground, which is just smarter, you know. I mean, why didn't they just go ahead and put some buoys across the ocean instead of laying a cable on the bottom, right? Same thing. Literally. Let's see, where was I now? Damn, here we are. See, I get that internet cutting out on me, pisses me off.
Yeah. Everything's better down where it's wetter.
But yeah, I mean, it's some of this shit that they're. I'm serious, man. When I tell people this, you know, if you have not figured out that this assassination thing was a big bunch of horse shit, you got to learn to be able to see the cons, right? It's why I was able to see fucking Duffy coming a mile away, right? I'm like, okay, Smiling Bob Preacher, what the fuck are you selling? Right?
That makes me want to tell you Duffy loves you.
I mean, for real. What the fuck are you selling, Smiling Bob? You know, sorry, man. And it's like this upward rising earth nonsense, too. I'm like, are you people actually really fucking believing in this shit, man? Really? Have you not learned anything at all?
Hey, I have a comment about that. So if it's an upward rising earth at what you said, so many 9 point something something squared, if you were going downward, would it have to be doubled?
Well, they're trying to claim relativity at the same time as saying this is what causes your gradient and all this other shit. And I'm like, no, that's not possible because you'd have to be increasing. You can't have it both ways.
So are we in Plato's cave?
I'm not. I mean, I look at the shadows and I'm like, look, you can tell this isn't real. I'm the guy pointing out the tricks. You see, do I believe in this? What? Okay, so they give me information, and I know that they are prone to hyperbole. Okay, we're going to be at war. We're going to be at war. We're going to be at war. Fear, 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 fear. Do I know that for a fact that that's actually what's occurring? No. Do they show me video to try to bolster my belief in this? Yeah, they do. It could be real. Could actually be happening. I don't know. So I have to take everything with a grain of skepticism, you know. But as far as I just wanted to touch on this, you can't have something be relative and also be creating an effect due to an increased acceleration all the time too. You know, like the guy was showing with the bubble in the bottle and he moves it on a cart. If he just continued moving forward at that same speed laterally, that bubble would have equalized and went to the middle. But he stops and starts pulling it backwards as it starts to equalize. You notice that if you watch the video. So it's not very honest, not a bit at all.
But that's everything. I mean, if you just take that example and then put it to like the Iran thing, it's almost like everything is almost so simplified that it follows that, I almost want to say, playbook. No matter what they say, no matter what they do, if you watch closely, it's just a simplified version of that. That they get it going and they'll tell you something, but if they let it go, you would be able to see, but they'll stop it just before most people would have a recognition of, hey man, that's not right.
Right. Well, you know, I'm like, that's fine. You can, you know, if that makes, if for some reason you think that the earth is rising up without any evidence of that whatsoever, other than a bubble in a fucking water bottle, I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. Good luck with it. That's all I can say. It's overcomplicating the simple. It really is. So it's like, in order to achieve the effect that they're postulating, would mean that the earth rising would have to be increasing in speed continuously in order to maintain the effect. It's not occurring. Real simple. Real simple shit. Maybe we need to go back to basics. Maybe somehow we need to go back to basics for some of these people. Why don't we do some of that? See what they got to say right here, because I'm going to smoke a bowl. I'm going to smoke a bowl, Raj. Yeah.
In the Earth Review magazine, October 1893. We have already given proofs that the Earth we live on is an extended plane, and one good practical proof of this is quite sufficient to discredit all the so-called proofs of the Earth's sphericity. The practical surveying of the surface of water proves that it is level, and if the surface of canals, rivers, and seas is level, then the Earth must be a plane. We begin with practical proofs, but on the other hand, our opponents begin by first assuming the Earth is a globe, and then looking about for some phenomena to support that assumption. This is not scientific, yet it is the way of our best astronomers. They first assume, and then try to support their assumptions. That which is most relied on by the Newtonians to prove the Earth and sea to be globular is the phenomenon of the disappearance of ships at sea.
That's what on his thing, what he said about assumptions too. And oh, look there. Who's that little cutie? Hold on. Like when you look into the sun and their calculations for its distance and shit, if you look carefully, you will find assumption upon assumption upon assumption used in those calculations. But most people, they just are in awe and go, oh, there's science and shit. And they don't pay attention to it. And they think, oh, that's real. And they have not, and it just blows right the fuck by them. They don't ask questions like, wait a minute, how the fuck do you know how far away Venus is? How do you know how big Venus is, man? What? How do you know how big the orbit of it? Where are you getting these numbers from, man? You know, they don't ask that. They just go, oh, okay.
That is really weird, because that was one of the conversations I was having with the family member about space. Is like, who gets to say how big Polaris is and how far away is it? You know what I mean? And like, I believe she lives in like Georgia, so I asked her about the Georgia Guidestones, right? Of like
Uh,
why they got blowed up. You know how they got like a terroristic thing of like there was a hole in there that pointed to the star, and it should have been moved out of that hole. And when people started talking about it, you know, next thing you know, goodbye Georgia Guidestones.
well, I think the destruction of the Georgia Guidestones was a signal of its kickoff time. And if you noticed, everything just started snowballing after that. They never did catch the people that blew it up, and they just happened to have that equipment ready to clear that out within an hour. So, really quite weird.
Disappears first, and when it does so, it is quietly assumed that the hull has gone down behind a hill of water. That this is a fallacy may often be proved by applying a good telescope, when, in clear or calm weather, the hull may be brought again into view. This shows that other causes than the one imagined operate to cause the disappearance of the lower part of a vessel before the sails, etc., in the upper part are lost to view. We will mention some of these causes, and
compromised field of view.
First and foremost, we shall offer some remarks under the heading of perspective laws. It is a well-known law of perspective that parallel lines, when produced far enough, appear to meet. This may frequently be seen on our railways. Now, if the earth be a plain, with the heavens outstretched above it, they ought in the distance to appear to meet. They do so appear to meet everywhere in the horizon, however distant. Therefore, the earth and sea form a vast, extended, and circular plain. The disappearance of ships at sea can be explained, and can only be explained, in harmony with these facts, and the laws of true perspective. A second perspective law may be stated thus: all straight lines, or objects moving in straight lines, which are above the eye of the spectator, seem, as they recede, to come down to the level of the eye, and all objects or straight lines below the eye, as they recede, seem to rise until they appear on a level with the spectator's eye, or line of sight. And thirdly, all objects ultimately vanish in this line of sight, which appears to be on a level with the eye, in what is called the vanishing point. And those objects which are above the eye never fall below the line of sight, and those objects which are below the eye never seem to rise above it. Now let us apply these laws of perspective by referring to the following diagram, illustrating the disappearance of a vessel at sea. Let AB represent the line of sight, or the height of the horizon, which is always on a level with the eye of the spectator, in whatsoever position or altitude he may place himself. Let DE represent the line made by the hull of a vessel in sailing away straight out to sea, and CB the straight line made by the flag of the vessel at the top of the mast. In this position, it will be noticed that the eye of the spectator is nearer to the level of the hull than it is to the height of the ship's flag. This is a common position. Then, according to the laws of perspective, the line CB, being above the eye, will seem to descend to a level with the line of sight AB, and the line DE will appear to rise up to it, both getting lost somewhere in it in the distance. But here we must point out a very common error. It is generally supposed that all such lines vanish at the same point, but they do not. It depends upon their position. If a man were to place his eye 8 inches above the ground, he would expect to see nothing lying on the ground beyond 1 mile. But if a large balloon were floating 1 mile high, it would be visible many miles distant. A wheel 8 inches high running on the ground would vanish much earlier than a balloon a mile high, yet both would vanish on or before reaching the same horizon, or line of sight. The higher an object is, the longer it will remain in sight, as the distance increases between it and us, and the lower or smaller an object is, and the sooner it will reach its proper vanishing point. The same rule applies to objects receding below the eye, or line of sight. Now, if the angle AED be less than the angle ABC, as in this case it is, it is evident that this angle AED, with all that is contained in it, must be lost to view, or reach the vanishing point, before the larger angle ABC and that which it contains. In other words, the line DE meets the line AB in the vanishing point E, before the line CB, which vanishes further off in the point B, its point of contact with the line of sight AB, so that the hull of a vessel in this position would naturally be lost to view before the upper part of the sails or the flag of the ship had disappeared. In calm weather, on the application of a powerful telescope, this angle would be magnified, and so the hull of the vessel would reappear, which it could not possibly do if it had gone down behind a hill of water. The vessel would be found hull up rather than hull down. Thus, perspective alone would account for a vessel appearing what has been mistakenly called hull down. Other causes often operate to hide the hull of a vessel before the ship's flag and masts are hidden from view. When the weather is clear, the sails and the flag can be seen more easily because they are against a background of clear sky, whilst the hull of the vessel is down and generally below the eye, in a darker and thicker element, surrounded by the spray and splash consequent upon sailing. All this has a tendency to hide the lower parts of a vessel first, and to display the upper parts last. Yet no note is taken of these things in astronomical works. No, their theory requires the vessel to have gone down behind a hill of water, and the other possible causes of the hull's disappearance are never so much as hinted at. If the whole vessel were much below the spectator's horizon, then the whole of the ship would vanish before reaching up to the line of sight. Under such circumstances, it could not possibly be hull down. In astronomical works, we have frequently seen the laws of perspective grossly violated. For instance, a spectator is placed on high, sometimes 200 or 300 miles, and instead of his line of sight being a tangent to the sphere at the point of observation, he is made to look down to his horizon. Such a view is never found necessary in nature, nor is it possible on a plane.
No.
The ship is placed a little way from the top of the illustrated globe, then the hull is brought up from below the spectator's horizon to the
There's never a time where you're going to be looking down at the horizon.
top of the globe and above his horizon, and afterwards it is made to sink down behind the supposed hill of water or curve. This is simply an outrage upon nature, and upon all true science and perspective, as might be shown by making another vessel sail away in the opposite direction. This vessel would have to begin to descend at once. Let us refer again to our diagram. Objects below the line of the horizon AB never rise above it, so that if a ship's hull be below the eye, as starting out it will, though seeming to rise higher and higher, forever remain below, as long as the spectator occupies the same position, until the hull is lost on or before reaching the line AB. This can be tested by anyone with the requisite amount of patience to watch. But if the earth were a globe, according to the diagrams of the astronomers, the hull of a vessel, though below the eye line, would first rise above it on the horizon and be seen against a clear sky in the distance, and then afterwards the hull would go down
Right.
beyond the horizon. But
once it got to that horizon line, you would see the whole thing with nothing but the sky behind it. But that's not the way we see it, is it?
Right. I must have ADHD because I'm already like, it's almost like sovereign. It's like how many people in their different perspectives can teach you the pentatonic scale. You know what I mean? It's
Right,
almost like this is like the same thing. I just keep picturing that person standing there, and there's a line that goes across the wall where their eye is, and everything else comes down. It's like, well, now we have AB and it equals CDF. And if AB is greater than CD, then EF can't be correct. And it's like, OMG.
Right. I was sitting here I was thinking about that myself too. I was like, I wonder if you could play those as he says them and wonder what it would sound like. Play those as notes, A, C, A, B, C.
And I mean, I do like Eric, but yeah, it's almost like, okay, well, this is his way to explain perspective.
Right. I say like this, all right? So you're looking straight out, okay? And you have this degree of angle that you can see downward, right? And that goes to the horizon, right? And when you get to about the horizon, there's where your eye level is at. So everything in the foreground you can see up to that point. Now, everything has so far gotten smaller as it got to that point where it's at the horizon. Now what's happening? Your field of view is now compromised by that horizon line. You can't see any further across that. It's just going to start fucking shit. It's just straight.
Right. But
And
it's
so
the
as
same.
the thing gets smaller, it appears to shrink from the bottom up, but it's actually shrinking from the top down because of your field of view. It's shrinking at the same rate. It's just that you can't see the bottom part of it because your field of view is compromised by the horizon line.
Or that you're not able to, like some people in that explanation is still to be able to recognize, no matter what's happening out there on what your eyes see, is that you have to know in your mind when you're looking out there that water level is below you, because you're standing on a deck where the water level is below you. It
Right.
doesn't matter what you're seeing way out there. You have to understand that that's below you. It's not risen to your eye level.
Right. It only appears to have done that.
Right.
Right. It's not really rising up. It just appears to do that just based on perspective. Yeah.
But it does not behave so. Therefore, the Earth is not a globe. If below the line of sight, the hull disappears before or vanishes on reaching the eye line and never gets above that line at all, this, according to laws of perspective, is just what ought to happen on a plane. It does so happen, therefore the earth and sea form a plane, and the sea is really level. Thus, the phenomena of the disappearance of ships at sea, when carefully examined, prove the very opposite of what they are generally supposed to prove. Before concluding, we would like to ask our astronomical friends a few questions on this subject. In the diagrams of ships at sea, given in astronomical works, why are the ships placed near the top and not under? Why is the first ship not placed on the top? Why near the top, and always having to go up first, and then go down afterwards? Has any object in nature ever been seen to rise perspectively as it recedes, and then, while remaining at the same altitude, to descend? By whom? Where? And when? Is not the observer always on the top of the earth? If not, why not? If the earth were a globe, would not the horizon be a tangent to the sphere at the point of observation?
Yep.
If so, ought not a ship to begin to descend at once, as soon as it leaves the observer? Why does a vessel not suit its behavior to the globular theory? Is it because it is only a theory? Why do the astronomers violate the laws of perspective when they make diagrams of ships at sea? And now, when these tricks of so-called astronomical science are exposed, why should not all our readers believe the plain truth that the earth and sea form one vast, outstretched, and circular plane?
Yeah, bitches.
In the Earth Review magazine.
I like that what he said too. It would have to be dropping away from you as soon as it left. Too.
Right. I mean, that's the whole premise of what is like really weird for me of that Globers don't understand is like, even though that math is put in of the what is it, the circumference of the earth, that math is like based in concrete to them, and they don't recognize that everything has to drop.
Yeah.
And then they claim, oh, it's just really big. No, everything has to drop. It has to. You can't just claim it's big.
Right. Yeah. I know. I don't know, they scramble for excuses continuously, you know, and it just all sounds like duct tape after a while. You know, it all just starts sounding like duct tape. That's why I can't listen to some of these guys anymore. They're same old fucking tired bullshit all the time. You know, it's like, look, we've already addressed it. We've shown why that's not true. And you continue on and start begging everybody to want to fucking debate you on your show and all your shit. Look, you need us, right? We're done with you. You had your day in the sunshine. Let's bring us some fresh people. Okay. Bring us
But
fresh people.
they don't have intelligence behind it. That's what really drives me away from it, is that when it becomes too intelligence, it's like, okay, everybody wants to say follow the science, or like somebody would be so upset that you're not believing the globe, and they'll go, well, you know, you can listen to this dude, or if you really want to know science, you can follow the glober. And it's just like, well, that's just ridiculous to even say that,
I
because
know.
scientists question everything. You question the flat earth dude. Don't just question the glober. Question both of them.
Yes. And stop appealing to, oh, well, some guy a long time ago that we learned about in school said such and such. Well, all right, first off, I don't even know if that motherfucker even really existed, right? Okay. And I don't give a shit what somebody 100 years ago said. Let's put this to practical fucking test. You know, just because somebody said that don't make it a law. Let's put this shit to a test. Let's see if it's real. Let's see if it's true. And what you find out, it's not. People are just clinging on to shit because in like this myth of mass attracting mass. And people still attracted onto that, still hooked onto that dumb shit. And it's like, get the fuck out of here with that. Nobody's ever witnessed two objects drawing together. Nobody.
Hey, I'm attracted to big girls. Just saying.
That's not what I'm talking about. That's the equation. That is, let's see, how's that go? The heat of the meat times the mass of the ass equals the angle of the dangle. That's it right there. That's the equation for that. The heat of the meat times the mass of the ass equals the angle of the dangle. So you can work that out.
But it's just like, okay, when people do that Mickelson Morley, like you talked about at the beginning, it's like, what's different than that, than somebody going across that frozen lake at like 3, 6, 9 miles and still being able to see the light and claim that that experiment is null and void, where we can claim that the Mickelson Morley was actually worth something.
Well, you know, I think I've always thought that there is some kind of a medium. There is some kind of an aether, if you will. And that's why I say there is no such environment where something is not subject to a medium. Is that medium an aether? Is everything exists? Is it, what is it? You know, how do you quantify it? That's one of the biggest problems we have. And it's kind of like, you know, when we need to study it more, but by just dismissing that it doesn't exist is not, I think that's a bad route to go, because I think that
I have another suggestion. I have another suggestion for you. Every time we hear the word quantify, since I brought that up earlier, you have to take a bong hit instead of parallax. Every time you hear the word quantify, that cracks me up.
So, just shifting gears a little bit, they're really cracking down on what people are allowed to say. I'm seeing this going on in the God, I almost said Soviet Union, in England, in Britain. This is off of Sky News. Check this out.
So this is a story about Humberside police who contacted a man called Harry Miller, I think, who had tweeted, or at least retweeted and liked an offensive poem. It was a limerick, I think. The police officer phoned up and said, we're investigating you for this limerick. And he said, well, have I committed a criminal offence? And the police said, no, this is a non-crime hate incident. that we have to investigate. Now, the problem with this wouldn't be if it was just one rogue police officer who was overreaching. You know, the problem is that Humberside Police have been contacted by The Spectator, by Index on Censorship, and they've said, yes, this is our policy. So we are going to investigate non-crime if the incident is considered hateful. And even if you go onto the government's website about hate speech and hate crime, there's a section on non-crime hate incidents. You had South Yorkshire Police who tweeted a number of months ago saying we were urging the public to report non-crime hate incidents. This is really troubling to me. This is straight out of Orwell. You hate to use the comparison, but it is. This police officer said to this man, we had to investigate this because we need to check you are thinking properly. We need to check your thinking.
We need to check your thinking. We need to make sure you're thinking properly.
But they've been doing that. I mean, that's the whole thing about people recording in public and people reporting it. It's like they're really doing the same thing here. They're reporting non-crimes, and the cops are coming out and going, "What are you doing with that camera? Why are you recording that building?"
But think about this: the police aren't going in. You know, in those instances, the police are not encouraging people. Hey, if you see somebody with a camera, call us so that we can come out and.
Yes, they are. They're saying, you see something weird, report it.
Oh, that's
they're actually saying
nobody's
that.
listening to that no more. Oh, that's that old Janet Reed, or who was it that said that shit? The Attorney General.
Yeah, but
Janet
they're still
Reno.
doing it.
But this right
Yo, can
here,
anybody hear me?
this is different. This is completely different. This is completely different. You got police going.
It's only different because they're claiming in some way they'll extradite you. So I'm like, hey, Saul, say something offensive, so we'll see if the UK will extradite you over there to pay
Yeah,
up.
right. Well, the thing is with this, I mean, who's the arbitrator of what's hate? How does that decided? Who decides that?
Right. It wasn't offensive to the dude who liked it and reposted it. It wasn't offensive to him. So why
that's what I
would
want
they?
to know is who gets to be the arbitrator of what's hateful.
This is really dangerous stuff. And we can have debates about hate speech and the validity of that. I mean, I think on balance, because, you know, I know what happens in history when you surrender powers to the government to police what people say, it doesn't end well. And the price you pay for
You're
that is
allowed to
nasty. They're
hate,
going to say some nasty things. But this is a step even further than that. This is non-crime. The police have no business investigating non-crime, and they shouldn't be doubling down. Humberside Police doubling down, saying, "Yeah, this is what we're doing. We're proud of it." No, they should be saying, "We shouldn't do this," or someone should be stopping this because this is going in a very, very dodgy direction.
So
yeah, I think that they said that they had like groups of police like scouring social media to find that stuff so that they could go like rap on somebody's door and go, "Come on."
Yo, how's everybody doing tonight? Can you hear me?
What's going on, Nathan? How are you tonight, man?
Yeah, I'm doing all right. I was listening for a little bit. Here, excuse me. I was listening for a little bit, and I saw there was a link there, so I figured I'd just hop on, and add to the conversation. I also want to say congratulations on the 2,000 subscriber because I believe you got that from going on with Jeranism. I've seen you on there with him a couple of times. But I used to watch you when you had like 700 subscribers, like maybe a year and a half ago.
Yeah. I made 2,000 subscribers a while back now. It grows, it grows slowly. But yeah, getting exposure is definitely gotten it out there, and by debating some of these globetards and that kind of thing. Yeah. And also I think that when I have a knack, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but I have a knack of being able to take this and putting it down into the common man's everyday language where you can just kind of understand what the hell these people are talking about,
Right.
And
yeah, I've seen that.
Put it into a context they can actually understand. A lot of times people want to try and act, and just say it all technographically, all technical, and it sounds good and everything, and people are in awe, but do they really understand what you were saying? No, let's put it down into something they can understand. That's what I like to do.
Right. Hey, I know there's a saying that goes, it's easier to deceive somebody than to make them think that they've got deceived, right? And that's clearly true for a lot of these people. You know, again, they think they know all this about the globe, but the fact is a lot of flat earthers know more about the heliocentric model than the people who actually believe in it, ironically enough.
It's true, because the fact that we've actually taken it and dissected it and understood what, wait a second, that can't be possible. Where are they getting this from? See, they just take it. And like I said on several times before, a lot of times they reject it off too because of the programming that's been given them at the young age. If you remember when you memorized all the planets and maybe made a little styrofoam model of the solar system and all this shit, right? And you were told by your teacher that you were really smart for that. And you got a good grade, and your family, your friends, or your parents and your grandparents, my gosh, you're really a smart little guy. I wouldn't be surprised if you'll be an astronaut one day or working for NASA, shit like that, right? And this sticks in your head. So later that carries with you, even though you don't realize it.
You know, like say for
And,
instance,
and when,
not to
wait
cut
a
you.
second, wait, when somebody tries to say that, no, none of that is true, now what's happening is you are taking away their smart. On a subconscious level, you're taking away all that praise, all that admiration that they got for memorizing that dumb shit. See?
Right. Like I remember even to this day, back in like first grade, I remember the teacher, they turned the lights off, they grabbed the globe, and then they grabbed the flashlight to represent the sun, and they showed us, how it's daytime here, then the earth rotates, and then it's nighttime, for us, and then light for them. And I still remember sitting there on the, colorful carpet today. I remember that like 20 years ago. But it shows some of that sticks with you. And of course, back then, we didn't know to question any of that. But I still have that memory the first time I was taught about the heliocentric, day and moon and how it, how it all worked on it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can remember all that shit that they gave us. And of course, when I was learning it too, it was right along with the big space race shit was going on, and we had the Apollo missions, and we'd sent men to the moon. And soon we were going to be going to Mars and all this. I can remember, you can find this on YouTube. They have a recording of it. And I just, for shits and giggles, looked it up, and it's there. And I had remembered this record that I had when I was really young, and it was called Bobby and Betty Go to the Moon. And it's hilarious because you listen to it, and I was enamored by it because it was these two kids. And by this time, the junior space cadets, this was going to be their first solo flight to the moon. And people had been going to the moon and in space since the early 1990s, according to this thing, this story. And going through all this stuff, of course, it was all audible. But it was really pushing this idea, and especially to kids, that, hey, even kids are going to go to space, man, which really bolstered it into you. That's amazing. That's great. And they pushed that through even with like Lost in Space, right? Here was a family that was lost in space. Billy, or what was the Will Robinson, right? The young boy and the daughter and shit. They were kids.
Did you ever see
see
the documentary called Evacuate Earth? It's about 2 hours long. It's on YouTube. You ever seen that before?
No.
It's kind of like a movie how it's set up, but it's like there's like a rogue star that's going to like devour the earth within 100 years. So what they do is they build a giant ship. They call it Noah's Ark, right? Or Ark 2 or something like that. And they evacuate humans off the earth onto a distant planet to, continue the human race. Of course, it's a science fiction movie now that we know what we know about the so-called globe and all that, but it's still a good watch. So you can see how they imagine, like even a lot of people in the comments said, yeah, hey, one day this is going to be a reality, when the earth gets, unlivable, we're going to build some type of ship to evacuate this place. It's a good fantasy film to check out if you ever have free time. Again, it's called Evacuate Earth is the documentary.
Let me see. What's this thing? I found it here, and I'm trying. It doesn't give a year for it.
I know it's back from the early 2000s. I remember watching it when I was like 9 years old. So it's quite an old one, and you can tell by the quality when you put it on, but it's definitely a number of years old.
Now this I know was from like I'd say 74, 73. Real quick, I just wanted to show this on okay. Corey Feldman. I am so embarrassed for this guy. I really am. Corey Feldman, watch this. This is now remember he was gonna somebody give me enough money so I can have protection, and I will spill all the names of these pedophiles in Hollywood and all that shit, right? Remember? Now look at him. He thinks he's freaking Michael Jackson. I'm embarrassed for this guy. He's my age.
Come on now. Get ready to come back me. Get ready to come back me. Get ready to come back me. Get you down on the floor, they're gonna keep it. Just kick it some more and treat you like spit. When you reach for the door, they're gonna close it. You're a beautiful soul, but no one knows it. We all have sadness, moments that we love. Where we must again was show them who it's from. Come back, king. I ain't missing this.
He's just awful.
Right, I see that.
And what happened to the I'm going to expose all these people and everything, and here he is now. He's just doing some kind of a stage show where he's now going to be Michael Jackson or some shit. I'm like,
Yeah,
how
that's
does
right.
anybody take that guy? I'm embarrassed for him. I really am. Hollywood messed him up, as it does all these kids, man.
Right, I hear you.
Every one of them. This is that Bobby and Betty go to the moon thing that I was telling you about. This is, let me just show you. You can listen to a little bit of it. It's kind of weird. This was the thing. And take a recorded lunar space adventure.
Number 5007. Solar calendar date 1 May, year 1985.
Okay, this was 1985 was what the year this was supposed to be. This was 1985 this was set in, and you got to figure this is about 1973. And they were really pushing that we were going to have colonies in space and everything, right?
Right.
Good evening, citizens of Earth. Citizens of Earth origin or any...
Pushing the one world government shit too. Citizens of Earth, right?
Right.
Even with that one small step for me, one giant leap for mankind, we're all in this together. And this guy is talking to the citizens of Earth, all these sci-fi things always have a one world government type theme to them, whether it's Star Trek and the Federation, or what was that one where they had to go fight the bugs? There was a movie about that where they had to go fight these bugs and shit. That was a one world type government too.
Starship Troopers.
Yeah, Starship Troopers, man. That's the one. That's a good one. Rico. Oh.
the other planet in the solar system. This is Dr. Harold Lippincott, your space diary commentator. Tonight on your telescreen, we will see and hear firsthand one of man's most momentous space adventures. A boy and girl will go to the moon. Yes, the first of our Earth children will make an unaccompanied lunar voyage from Space Platform 7 direct to the moon. What a great achievement for these two youngsters. What a great honor for these first graduates of the World Junior Interstellar Cadets. The Interstellar Cadets, as you know, are a group...
The World Interstellar Cadets, right? See?
With
This is the programming, man. This is the shit. I had this record. I'm not kidding. This is...
ordinary children from all over the planet Earth. They are especially gifted and start training at one or several space academies on the home planet. Your commentator was privileged to visit Space Platform 7 last week. And before Cadet Bobby and Cadet Betty went into pre-lunar medical quarantine, I interviewed them. These telememory tapes will introduce you to these two exceptional youngsters.
Telememory tapes.
Bob, are you and Betty worried at all about your lunar adventure?
Not really, Doctor. We've been thoroughly checked out on our space shuttlecraft, and of course, adults have made thousands of such trips.
After all these years of training,
Thousands of such trips. Adults have made thousands of such trips. This is 1985. This is 1985, right? There's Flatsoid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said you weren't. I knew you weren't blocked, dude. Oh, there's somebody else too.
Well,
there's
yo,
Iron Boy.
I gotta drop because I gotta pick somebody up. But I appreciate you guys bringing me on. I'll definitely stop back again when I can. All right.
Right on, brother.
All right. Cool.
Thanks for
Cool. You
coming
guys
up,
have a
man.
good night.
Right on.
Morning.
How you doing, Keith? What's up tonight?
Good. And yourself?
Oh man, I was telling these guys. I don't know how long you've been here, but this is a record album that I had as a little kid, and I was talking about the programming that was involved with this. And this whole thing was it's a boy and girl take a recorded lunar space adventure. Right. The setting of this whole little story is 1985. And apparently, according to this announcer this little interview, adults have already made this trip thousands of times by this point in time, 1985. It's just all the time. It's just traffic in space. It's got to be traffic in space. And now this is going to be the first time that two unaccompanied cadets make this trip together. See? And they were really pushing this stuff forward and picking out some of the programming that's involved with it. I don't know. This was, I think, I'm wanting to say like 1973, because I was really big into the space program. And I remember I was homesick. I think I had the mumps or something, and I was home from school. And my dad got that for me on his way home from work, because, you get shit when you're sick, I guess, his way here get better, So I remember I listened to this and I was dreaming about it. I was like, oh man, this is gonna be so fucking cool. Can you imagine? I could probably even get a job in space working or something, who knows?
Those weren't
Taco
mumps.
Bell.
Those were your boobies.
But you'll see that this, if you get into this, that it was really sexist. It was really sexist too, because it was like they had different training for the girls than they do for the guys, because the girls had to learn how to do domestic chores in weightless environments.
That's messed up.
So they had to push
Here's
those
this space sponge over at that space sink, and then some space palm olive. Get to work, goddammit.
Washing dishes in a weightless environment.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Doesn't that rocket look a lot like SpaceX rockets?
It does. It does. It needs to be a little pointier.
It looks just like that that rocket on the front cover of that Wernher von Braun story, Mission to Mars or Mars Missions or something like that.
Oh, the one where there was a revolt on Mars led by a guy named Elon.
Elon,
Is
right?
that the book? I thought that was Heinlein. I thought that was Heinlein wrote that book.
Nope, this
No,
one
it
was
was
Wernher
Braun?
von Braun. Matter of fact, if you guys have that book, right? If you go to chapter 4, I think it is, that's where they start discussing the Elon and how their government is run. Just in case you're like pouring through that book and you're looking for it, that's where you'll find it.
Oh man, guess what? I got people coming tomorrow to replace my roof.
Ooh,
isn't that cool?
Ooh.
Yeah, listen, I had to fight with the fucking insurance company for like forever about this shit, and it was like, motherfuckers, what are you doing?
Bro, it's gonna be 100 degrees tomorrow.
That's
It's
all right.
hot.
I ain't doing it. It ain't me.
True.
I'm sitting in here. All I got to do is just turn up the TV so I can hear it over the hammer, and that's all I give a shit about. You just get that fucker replaced, man.
Yeah.
Out in the driveway, got all the shingles, all the flashing, everything sitting out in the driveway right now, waiting on them. So that was pretty cool. Finally, it kind of snuck up on me. I forgot it was coming, and then it's like, oh yeah, that's coming. They came and delivered that shit today. Because it's just been so long. Listen, we started the ball rolling on this back at like the last part, maybe the middle part of May, and going back and forth with it. First thing they did, my roof is old, right? My roof is old. There's no way you're going to replace shingles because you're going to break shingles trying to replace shingles. There's no way. It's got to be replaced. And the wind came whipping through here during the storm and ripped a bunch of shingles off.
Oh God!
And so we went through the homeowners insurance to get the roof replaced, and they were just going to have it so they come and replace shingles. And I was like, there ain't no way. Have your guy come and look at it. I want him to show me how the fuck you're going to do that. There ain't no way. Plus, how are you going to match shingles from 50 years ago?
That's true. They're probably made of asbestos.
Yeah, man. So
There's where your co-pilot come in handy. Something Wong said, "Hey, there's something wrong with that."
Well, I got a news flash for that outfit because as soon as we get this roof done and it's all done, I'm swapping fucking insurance companies. They can kiss my. I'm tired of fucking with them.
Yeah, insurance companies they've been really funky this last year and a half and stuff. They've been acting real wild with how
they have all your financial institutions are acting crazy. And it's because their whole thing is based on debt. And nobody's wanting to take on any debt, and it's pissing them off. They ain't making nothing. See?
Yep.
That's crazy. Listen to this
Hey,
crazy
does
shit.
that homeowners insurance work like auto insurance with a premium? Like you have a certain premium you have to pay?
That you pay.
Well, yeah, you have to you have to pay a premium just like your auto insurance. Yeah, you definitely have to. And but when you file a claim, they do have a deductible, but we've already met our deductible, so there isn't one. They can suck it. So we're just doing it, man. What's going on, RG?
Not much, man. I hope my mic works a little better this time, and there's not such a delay. I just jumped on because I was kind of talking in chat about I didn't know any specific subject you wanted to stick to, but I just wanted to throw it up in the air and see if you wanted to look at a short video. It's like 10 minutes long. That it's another viable model of how the stars could be working from the 90th parallel north to the widest point at the 90th south. On our model, and how these concentric circles would start with not many in the middle of including Polaris and maybe one or two other stars at the very 90th point, and then concentric circles each latitude going outward, and more stars as you work your way out, more and more concentrated as you go inward. So basically you were starting with one or two, and then the next latitude out would be going slower but less stars, and then faster the wider you go. So I wondered if y'all would be curious.
Yeah, throw it in the private chat. We'll look at it after we get done laughing at this fucking thing.
Okay. And just it's I don't see it as absolutely true, but I do like the model. Just giving y'all a heads up.
Right.
All right. Thanks.
I like to point out too, though, is models are models and not reality. Models are somebody's concept.
Wait. Don't tell QInfy that, because then he'll use it and try and debunk you on that.
No, well, I don't care. He can do whatever he wants to. That's his gig.
And Rob, by the way,
I was watching some of that stream last night on Natch. Literally just crying about us the whole time.
No way, really?
Rob, they're saying your album was excellent. They're giving you shouts out in the comment section over here. So congrats, I guess.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should do maybe like an online show sometime.
That would be nice.
All right.
I suppose it's really a great thrill.
It certainly is. Bob, of course, studied 18 months longer than I.
Bob, where have you trained?
Well, I had calculus and logarithms in elementary school in Washington, USA. Then I spent 1 year in the Space Flight Center at Houston, USA. Another year in Moscow on advanced power and propulsion systems. 6 months in England at the Academy of Celestial Navigation, and then back to Houston for advanced computer technology.
So you basically had no fucking childhood whatsoever.
Can't ride a
I
bike,
had
can't chase girls.
The girls' training is going to be different.
Just about the same program, except for the fuels and propulsion. The girls just don't seem to take to the engineering courses.
Well, you kids have spent 6 months.
Oh, that's fucked up.
The girls just don't seem to take to the engineering courses.
Oh, that's messed up.
So we took domestic chores and weightless environment classes and shit. Washing dishes in space. How to make a sandwich in 0G.
Oh, no.
50,000 miles from Earth on Space Station number 7. And now you are ready for the final 200,000-mile voyage to the moon. Good luck.
Thank you, Doctor.
Gotta have those space noises, Steve.
It is now a few minutes before the cadets leave the quarantine chambers and board their shuttle rocket. Telecontrol, can we have an audio line to launch QC on platform number 7? Can you hear us, QC7?
How are we going to get to the moon if we can't even communicate between two buildings? Boom.
We have cleared you for transmission from quarantine chamber.
And they didn't even have the internet those days.
Dr. Ivanovich, was it really necessary for us and our shuttle rocket to be isolated here for so long?
Yes, Bobby. You see, this is the largest working space satellite platform in the system. And when it was built,
Yes,
the
Bobby.
components that were rocketed from Earth were not decontaminated. That is why this section was constructed, to make certain that all people and material that stop here for transfer to the moon are completely free of microbes that could possibly destroy our lunar colonies and research centers.
Just think.
Wait.
50,000 miles
why
above
are the Russians
Earth.
working with Americans? I thought they were enemies.
Oh, no, not in this thing. It's all a world. The guy started out talking to the citizens of Earth. See, they was pushing the one world government thing, too. You know, keep in mind, the setting for this futuristic stage here is 1985. So they was actually blowing that shit at us, you know, in 1972, 73, somewhere in there is when this whole thing, I remember this album, this record, I had this. And I was like, oh yeah, that would probably be, you know, I'm taking it as gospel because we're hearing stuff about how commercial space travel is going to be commonplace. And of course, Stanley Kubrick with his 2001, look at that. They had a hotel. It was a Hilton and everything was privatized. He called home on a Bell video phone using a Bell telephone service, and all of that was like commercial. It was a Pan Am flight he took to the satellite to begin with. If you watch that movie, it's, you know, it's
and this is fresh
it'll
right
put you
after
to
the moon
sleep.
landing.
So yeah, there was a lot of pushing that it was going to be commercial and just everyday shit, you know. So as kids, we'd listen to this thing and be going, man, can you imagine? And thinking, you know, by 1985, I'll just be in my early 20s. I'll, you know, wow,
We've
you know, I'll
done
just
more.
be 20 years old by 1985. So
We achieved more in 1985. I mean, we ended up traveling through time in a car, a DeLorean. Remember that? That all happened in 1985.
blew up a space shuttle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was 86.
Was it 86?
Yeah.
I thought it was 85.
It was planned in 95.
Yeah, it
man.
was planned in 85. Right. Oh my God. Yeah, the Russians are friends now. See, they denounce their evil ways.
And a total trip of 250,000. Professor Lawrence, do you have any last-minute instructions?
I see the boarding control light is go. Now just remember your sequence instructions. Follow the exact routine as we have for months in the shuttle rocket assimilator. And now, our best regards to all our friends at Lunar Central. God bless.
Goodbye, and thanks to all of you.
Damn, that sounded culty as hell.
Check 1, airlocks.
There you go, airlock.
Check 2, systems master switch and computer activation.
Hopefully they weren't using paper mache airlocks like NASA does.
That must be what the sound, that's space noises. Without those noises and beeping, that's just not. It's just not.
Yeah, that makes it official, right?
It does.
Right.
All go. Check 3, telemetry systems and platform control.
All readings to check 3 indicate go.
Request hangar pad ports open for jettison.
Ship is clear of platform. 200 meters. 600 meters.
And it's very important when you're talking in space and stuff, you have to say things in a monotone fashion.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he totally doesn't sound possessed by a fucking zombie or some shit.
Yeah, and they do that. And they do that in movies too. You see them in movies. Sugarcane calling squirrel. This is sugarcane. All cars called out on the highway.
Yeah. Or the best is in the movies when they show you a computer screen and they're typing, and then you hear this little glitzy noise. It's like click, click, cling, ling, 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 all these little electronic noises. I'm like, my computer never makes these noises. Why is it that every time they're on a computer, it's got all these little quick, quick, wing, 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 wing. I'm like, man, ain't nobody's computer does that bullshit. Come on, man.
Even on Star Trek, you go computer working. It's like, okay. I want mine to do that. Working.
1,500 meters. 3,000 meters.
Oh, he's really carrying
Shuttle requests clearance for rocket ignitions.
Stabilize attitude 3 degrees. Attitude corrected. Hold. Fire!
There they go.
The launch window must have been perfect. Bobby, we're absolutely on course. I doubt if Lunar Central will have to correct us when we reach the entry corridor.
Just keep following that compass, and you'll make it there. Head north.
Yeah, right.
Head north toward the moon.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, for real, how the fuck you gonna navigate? Right? Jesus.
Use Polaris.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Oh my God. Compass heading. It's like those old Flash Gordon. I watch those old Flash Gordon serials. Those things crack me up. He's like flying along. They're going, give it more power. We've got to make it to Mars before sundown. And I'm like, wait, what?
So you're right.
It's fantastic when you think that back in the 1960s, men were just making the first trip in the old Apollos and had to use a lunar module to drop to the surface of the moon.
Well, that's what started it all. Those big rockets loaded with such exotic high-power fuels, boosting parts into space, and then scientists and mechanics assembling all those parts into space satellites the size of small towns.
See, that's where the propaganda is.
The rocket
There we
fuels we use today.
Right. And so far now,
is
what
what
have they
propaganda.
done? Supposedly the ISS. That's just it. Here we are. way past 1985.
Yeah.
And that's what I was thinking even when I was a kid. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Make these platforms in space, launch your exploration from there,
Mm-hmm.
you know, rather than have to expend all this energy launching from the Earth. Start your launch from already up there. You
Yeah,
know,
but
that was
even
my thinking. Put a base on the moon, launch your exploration from the moon. You don't have to use as much fuel to take off. You can, you know,
even
it's
Obama though, even
no
Ad
Obama
brainer.
was
Astra, you
like
guys watched Ad Astra before?
Astro.
What?
What's this?
Yeah, that's what they do. They made the military base on the moon, and then they used the rocket from the moon to go to Mars.
Oh, okay. And that was a movie or something, or
Yeah, with Brad Pitt.
okay, yeah.
It would make
That's what I'm
logistical
saying. It's
sense.
like that's what I was always thinking, even as a kid. I'm like, once they establish a base on the moon, then you got, you know, the sky's the limit, you know, no pun intended. That they could actually, you know, it would be easier to do that. And then I started looking into stuff and found out that they, according to their story, by using solar heat to produce bricks out of moon dust, the byproduct is oxygen. And I was like, there's a no-brainer. There's your oxygen, there's your building materials. You know what, you know, I was really going along with this and everything. And here they go, kick the can down the road. Well, hopefully next year we'll be able to send some people up to the moon. You know, okay, 20 years down the road. Hopefully next year or the year after that. You know, it's like, oh, shut up. You know, enough of you
Wait.
people.
Weren't they supposed to go this year as well? And now they
Yeah,
can't again?
and then they
Yeah.
moved it to 2025, and then from 2025, which we're not even in yet, it's like 2028 now or something like that, something
Yeah.
crazy like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they can't do it.
They can't do it.
Hey, you want to hear something funny? I was looking forward to floating around up there on a different planet because I'm paralyzed, but I'm fucked, I guess. But hey, I'm gonna keep it to a minimum because my microphone's real scratchy. So
Yeah, it's kind of poppy. I don't know what
Yeah.
to do.
All I was looking
I'm
forward to was getting in my Superman costume and acting like I could fly around, you know?
Mm-hmm. You know what I think
Yeah.
they're waiting on? I think they're waiting on the NVIDIA and the graphics just to get better. So then once they feel safe enough and comfortable enough to go ahead and make it, they're going to be like, all right, we're going to the moon now. And then they're going to have such hyped up graphics and everything else to where it's like, we can't lose with these graphics. We can
Yeah,
fool
Neuralink.
everybody with these glasses.
It's
with these
Neuralink. They're going to be using virtual reality. It's
Yep.
exactly that. It's just duping people to think they're going somewhere they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't. That's
Are so light and compact with over 70,000 times the power of those old Apollo fuels. Yet, they were the great space pioneers, the American astronauts, the Russians, and all those that followed.
Yes, I don't think boys and girls ever dreamed back then that those old LEMs, lunar modules, would be the workhorses of space. They transported the millions of tons of materials it took to build our experimental colonies on the moon.
And who would have dreamed that we would have computerized electronic guidance and radio systems to take over after launch that will guide us right on an inner space beam direct to the moon port.
And no more hovering for a landing. Simply cleared approach vector and let Lunar Central decelerate us for a landing into the touchdown tube.
Isn't it beautiful out here? Look to the left. You can see Earth, Venus, and Mercury.
Yes, but to the right, I can only see Mars and Jupiter. Jupiter is so big, I can't see the other planets. Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, and...
she can just see all that shit
That's what
because
I'm
she's
saying. I'm like
100 miles closer to it than
You can all see Uranus.
I can see
I
the
was thinking exactly the
zodiacal
same thing.
light. You can see the zodiacal light.
You can see Uranus and the moon's hemorrhoids.
Yeah, right. I bet she sees Uranus.
Something stinks about this whole argument.
yeah, it's a shitty argument, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, this is, but yeah, my point in this was, you know, I just wanted to show how far back the programming goes with this stuff. They were hitting us right off the bat. This is only just a couple of years after the Apollo missions. And I think the Apollo missions might have still been going on. I need to find
No,
out.
they
What
stopped
year
in.
was
I
this
think
thing?
they stopped in 70. Was it 72? Was the last Apollo mission on, or the last flight
Yeah.
to the moon? Right. 1972 was
It's
December of
getting
19.
to. Yeah, it was getting to how the fight.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Okay. No. All right. It was before that. That was actually 1966. So apparently it had been out a couple of years when I got a hold of it.
Oh, the record.
Yeah, that record that we were just listening to, that was from 1966. They made that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So then 19 years later, 1985, is when they. Wow, so many expectations.
Yeah. Well,
So
yeah, and
many.
they were really pushing it. I mean, Disney had a whole section down at Disney World called Land of Tomorrow, or World of Tomorrow, it was called.
Jeez, man.
And they had like sonic washing machines for your clothes that used sound waves instead of water, and all this different shit, you know, like the Kitchen of Tomorrow and all this stuff that you could see. This whole area was called Tomorrowland.
Yeah. Funny thing about the sonic, we had a sonic sink when on my first ship. I worked in the nuclear support facility, so we had a sonic sink. So we would put our tools that had like grime, grease, and a little bit of rust on there, and the sonic sink would break all that stuff up.
Wow.
Yep.
Did it work pretty good?
Yeah, it worked phenomenally. We used it all the time, and this was back in 2000. This was back in 2001, right before 9/11. Yeah. A sonic sync.
I'm curious, how do we lose access to our own patents that our money pays for? I don't get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, something is supposed to be public.
Yeah, lose access to all of our patents that that our taxpayers go to, right? And people just buy it, you know, that's a really good question, because I totally forgot about that. So many lies stacked on top of lies.
Hang on, let's see. If people, you know, they're like, I'm watching your show from yesterday. I'm like, well, shit, I'm live right now. What the fuck? Go back and watch that later. Shit.
Yeah, right.
We're having fun on here tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been looking a lot. I wanted to, I didn't realize that it was 1966, because I think when I had it was like, I don't know, early 70s. I remember, because I had the mumps or chicken pox or some shit like that. So I was in like first or second grade, and my dad came home from work with that for me. You know, like, how you feeling there, bud? You know,
I'm surprised we didn't have a chicken pox party.
oh, we did. My mom asked the doctor, well, what should I do about his brother? He said, put him right in bed with him. And she was like, what? Yeah, get it over with. You know, just get it the fuck over with.
Get them all. Yeah.
Yep. And it wasn't no problem. It wasn't a problem. You know, I mean, look, everything's fine.
Yeah.
I had the mumps. I got that. All those little childhood diseases right now. People would be rushing their kid to the fucking emergency room and freaking out and shit. And it's just like,
they turned it into an episode of ER.
Yeah, they do. They turn everything into that. They turn childbirth into a medical procedure.
Yeah.
Which is ludicrous. It's ludicrous. It's since when is, I mean, that's something that every animal does, is give birth to their offspring. We don't have a lineup of deer and black bear and hawks and eagles and shit hanging out up at the veterinarian's office because they're going to give birth, right? They just do it.
Yeah.
That's what we're supposed to do. You're supposed to have to go to some trauma house full of bad vibes and bad emotions with people in states of fear and panic and agony. What a terrible place. What a terrible environment to bring a new person into the world in. My God. And then to have them out under
but remember
bright light.
that they're just showing that people can't have their own privacy anymore either, and people are
No.
conformed to just accept it.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
something that could be natural natural
It's
and
the
normal.
reality.
Yeah, something that used to be natural and is totally foreign to people that it used to be natural and normal, and they feel it needs to be in the hands of the medical field or the government, or you know what I'm saying, some highly trained professionals. We've totally like, and it's funny that you even mentioned that, because this is something that we naturally do.
Yeah. And we're familial creatures. We're familial creatures.
Mhm.
And we've had that taken away from us as well. And it would be that, you know, a new mother, oh my God, you know, that's I'm a mother now. What do I do? The older women in the community or in the family, in the familial unit would say, it's okay, honey. This is what you do. It'll happen naturally. This is what we do here. This is how we take care of when they mess and blah, 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 blah. And everything is fine. And this shit is passed down, passed down, passed down, passed down.
Yeah.
And there's no need for dropping the kid into the gloved hands of a masked stranger with bright lights shining down in his face. Holy crap, what a traumatizing experience.
Yeah.
He's like, put me back, you know.
We've taken everything natural and corrupted it, and
Yep.
we have even telling each other now that everything we see is not seen. It's crazy.
Yeah, you can't trust your senses. You know, and this woman, what was this girl on Facebook? She was like, well, how do you know that you're not moving? I said, well, I don't feel any movement whatsoever. I don't experience movement. And she goes, well, how would you know? I said, because I have a fucking vestibular system. What the hell do you mean? How would I know?
You
These are
have a
two of our
cochlea,
own
right?
gyroscopes. Yeah, we have two of our own gyroscopes in our head.
Yeah, man. You know when you're moving.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this idea, and they try to say, you know, it's so big that the speed doesn't matter. It's only one rotation per day. Motherfucker, it's still a centripetal speed involved there, babe. Okay? There's still a centripetal speed happening. Okay? And I don't give a shit. Size does matter. You know, when it comes to that, it doesn't matter. Size does not matter when it comes to that, because of the fact that 1,000 miles an hour is 1,000 miles an hour, whether it's in a rowboat or a cruise ship, it's still subject to the same physical laws.
And when you turn in those boats, or when you turn in anything, you're going to feel it.
Right. Where'd Flatsoid go?
Flatsoid.
Yeah, I think drop off.
Oh, okay.
I think that's why
back here.
I think
All right, have a good night, Flatsoid.
Oh, Flats, you have a good night, bro. My internet has been acting up these last few weeks.
But, dude, I thought he was back. I was like, I didn't put him back up there.
What was that? That wasn't him?
No, that was Ironworks. Ironworks. I told Flatsoid that today. I said Ironworks does the best impersonation, dude. I swear to God.
We can do a debate. You can be Flatsoid and I can be Luca.
Holy shit, man.
Hello, everybody.
Luca, it appears to me you've been dishonest.
I've seen it.
Your problem is you've been dishonest.
Oh, wait, you guys got it. Yeah, be Luca. Be Luca, Luke.
Nah. It said in chat. It was in ChatGPT. It's the truth. The TV told me.
Bro, that's so wild. That's so wild.
Your problem
Hey,
is...
Flatside, can you tell me what's the difference between fiction and non-fiction?
Well, apparently, of course, non-fiction, there's a section there where you can find these in a book section. Your problem is you're just suffering from a bout of dishonesty. These things... Yes, I recommend...
Oh, you hurt my feelings.
I think, yes, you need to go back into your Bible.
The Bible's not true.
I swear to God, this is fucking classic. This is gonna be clipped.
Flats, man, my bad, man.
You got me, bro. You got me. You got me, bro. But hey, what we're going back to what Saul was just saying about, knowing that when we're spinning and the feeling we're built with natural telltale signs, right? And I think that's why you'll like this video, because if we're still and the sky's moving, then it's from the inner circles to the outer circles, they're all in line with each other, giving the illusion of all turning at once together. But the inner circles are spinning slower, and the outer circles of the stars are spinning faster to keep up with one another. Yep.
I never even considered that. I never even considered that.
Interesting.
I think the chat's suggesting I actually am Luca.
Yeah, you did.
Sorry,
Good job.
guys. I've put Luca to bed. You won't be hearing from him again.
No, I'm still
Now
here.
I'm starting to question. Maybe he is Luca. He's coming on being Luca. It's possible. It's possible.
It was a good trial while it lasted.
It was. I like that.
I just got to learn how to do a Brenda voice next.
Oh, good God. No, please don't.
That is mine. Jaron,
Please
you're
don't.
wrong. That is mine.
That's not bad.
Hey, don't tempt us now. I might have to turn into FTFE and ask you on a date.
Ooh.
Oh no.
Oh my God. Yeah, there's those guys. I don't see them now. Apparently, if there's no 24-hour sun in Antarctica, those guys said they're going to delete their channels. That's further indication that tells me they're up to something, because they would never fucking agree to that. They would never agree to that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm wondering, why is it so important that all of a sudden this year, and the guy that they tried that shit on in Brazil, right? He said, they said, fuck it, let's go right now. We can get the money. We'll go this year. We'll go this year. Then they were like, no, we'll go in 2024. Why?
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
We'll
there's
go
some
like
kind
that.
of fucking bullshit. There's some kind of bullshit involved here.
Yeah. And
And
you
I
know,
want to know what the fuck Duffy's getting out of it. That's what I want to know.
And it's funny because really all they talk about, this is all they talk about, how foolish we are, everything else. Like there's no real content to what their channels are. So this is like very big and very important to them. And you just mentioning that, saying that them Brazil go right now.
Yeah, that's a big tell. That's a big tell.
There's something about those dates that they're pinpointing, I think.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Another thing that's pissing them off too is that we're not on board with the idea that, if you see a 24-hour sun, that's going to mean the Earth's a globe. No, it doesn't. It means there's something going on with the sun that we're not understanding, because it doesn't throw all the rest of this shit out in the trash. Okay. I'm sorry.
Yep.
It doesn't.
Good point.
Yep.
So, I hate to burst your bubble. That's your claim that it proves that it would be. And I'm looking at it like, okay, so all of a sudden in 2024 is going to be the deciding factor, when we've had people down there since 1908. Okay. So what the fuck? You mean, all of a sudden nobody noticed whether or not there was a 24-hour sun. And when people did notice there was a 24-hour sun and filmed it, they gave us fake films. Okay. So why all of a sudden is it this year this is a big thing? Now, I know a lot of people are against this, but I have seen, unrelated to the final experiment whatsoever, a lot of people calling into account the sun itself, primarily this year. Sunflowers apparently not doing what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
People's fruits not ripening correctly as according to the positions of sun. This type of thing that's happening. I'm noticing anomalies with my trees out here. How does half of a leaf burn? How does half of a leaf burn?
Yep. Some of my seeds aren't, some of my, like I've just started attempting to germinate good Lord, some dragon fruit seeds. I germinate everything. I could germinate every and anything anytime.
Right.
They haven't been germinating at all.
Yeah,
and my lemon seeds haven't been germinating. My canepas haven't.
Bro, and everybody was getting mad at me. Sorry to interrupt. Everybody was getting mad at me about talking about I hate using the words sun simulator, but there's something up that
Yeah.
I've noticed, and I would have never brought it up if I didn't think there was something to it.
I've seen videos of the sun flashing. All
Yeah, like
kinds
in
of
Africa.
crazy
You saw
shit.
that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, just
I did
flickering.
too. Yep.
Yeah.
So what's going on? There's something really kind of crazy going on, and it all seems to have been really happening ever since this last eclipse. So
Yeah.
what's really
Yeah.
going on? We also noticed there was
Yep.
a huge difference in shadow size between the October eclipse and the April eclipse. The
That
October eclipse had a shadow approximately 70 miles wide, whereas the April eclipse had one about 120 to 130 miles wide.
what?
Yeah.
That
Yeah, and remember they were prepping everybody. They were blowing it all out of proportion on the media. Man, there's going to be military in the cities that they're, on and on about supply your gas and plenty of food, and it's just there's something wacky about it.
Yeah, remember all the disaster predictions and all that shit right around it, and municipalities, like RG was saying, the municipalities that were putting out warnings in states of putting National Guard on alert and make sure you're stocked up on food and you got
Yeah.
batteries and all that shit. And it's like it's just
Don't
fucking
record with your phone.
Yeah, don't look at it with your eyes. I looked at it with my eyes.
Yeah, right.
I
Right.
watched it dead straight with my eyes.
They always say don't look at it. And then they were like, "Oh, don't be out during this time. Don't do this during the eclipse. Like try
Yeah.
to make sure that you're home." And it's like they were setting up for an emergency or something. And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, they never do that. They never do that during an eclipse. I don't know why it's so
And
important."
everybody over the last couple of years have made it a really loud known thing that the light has gotten more whitish and it's not as warm. It's more it's called climate change. It's melt. I mean, there's a lot of different things I think going on.
It's very intense. It's very intense. Which makes me wonder. I mean, it's yeah. And I know for a fact that the sun we have today is not even close to what it was when I was young. Not even close. The sun used to be yellow and warm.
Yeah.
And now it's like white and harsh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
In
white.
complete, it was the sun is supposed to be in total opposition of what the moon gives you, because the moon gives you that silver. Sun is known to give you the
Right.
golden light at all times.
Well, what gets me is how nature's reacting. Okay. And like you said, with the seeds, the sunflowers, the fruit ripening, that kind of thing. I don't think I've had to mow but 3 times this summer so far. 3 times. The grass isn't growing like it should. I've seen hardly, and
Yeah,
I
my
live
dad
in an
and mom-
agricultural area. Usually I am battling flies all the time.
Yes.
Right. Man, I have only used my bug assault gun like maybe 5 or 6 times this whole fucking summer. And I mean, you don't see the flies. I've seen no bees. I've seen 0 bees this year.
I've seen a couple.
And usually I let the clover grow in my yard for the
Right,
bees. And no bees, man. I don't know. It's really weird. So there's really a lot of strange shit going on as far as nature is concerned. And I wonder if it is a change in the sun or possibly a substitute for the sun that isn't working in harmony with nature as it's supposed to.
Right. And you want to know something, man? They're going to go around and they're going to say we're stupid, we're idiots, we're wrong. Well,
I
remember the
don't care.
chemtrails? Remember with the chemtrails, how we were wrong about that too?
Yep.
That other in the sky phenomena. And now
Yep.
it turns out that now the whole public knows about it, but it's just like everything else, they just totally ignore it.
Yep. They're going to just say, oh,
Hey,
yeah,
and my
well,
theory-
did you hear about those they're spraying us? Motherfucker, I've been trying to tell you for years that they've been spraying you, man.
Yeah. And so
Yeah, and hey, that's part of my theory in a way, guys, that I'm glad you brought that up, Saul, because I think that somehow is playing a part with heating up the atmosphere with these microscopic barium, aluminum, and whatever else they're not telling us about. I think it's being intensified, and that's why just over the last year it's heated up to me, astronomically, and it's getting warmer.
Well, yeah, I mean, it was hotter than fuck out there today.
Yeah.
At noon, and then now it's down to what, 63 degrees?
It's 63 degrees by you. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. It's supposed to be 100 degrees in the morning.
Yeah,
like
it's gonna be hotter than
right
bitch
next to
tomorrow.
each other.
I don't know. Let me see what my weather over here says, if it ever comes up.
It's almost like a magnifying glass. I mean, really, when that sun is beaming through these particles, man, I think it's something to do with it. So.
It might be. It very well could be.
And it being on the ground, you know, when it settles in, I mean that's just heating up the ground, you know, when there's sunlight consistently on it.
Well,
I mean, that was since the late 80s they've been doing it.
It's only showing a high. It's only showing a high of 79 for us tomorrow.
What?
Yeah.
Probably over by you. It's giving me. Where am I at? It's giving me. Oh God. Oh, that's why. Yeah, mine was set to Texas. Mine was set to Texas. Yeah, so it because I was in Texas a few days ago. It's still stuck on Texas. Yeah, you're right. Like,
see, man, you're only about an hour or so north of me. So how in the hell are you getting that kind of heat?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not like I'm in Zimbabwe or something. Golly,
Right?
man. I was like,
No
let me
shit.
see. Yeah, it's cool.
Mini...
But this time of year for it to be that cold, right? From me, it's saying 64 degrees or 65 degrees.
Yeah.
Jeez,
So I got 63 right now.
This don't make no sense. In August, we're still in like early August. It's approaching the middle of August, and for it to be like this it don't make no sense to me.
Right. And here just last week it was up in, you know, a high 90s, 100 degrees and shit. Yeah. And now that's what I'm saying. All these temperature fluctuations. And my trees, like I got a tulip poplar out here in the yard I planted a few years ago. And it grows really fast. It grows quite tall. And this year, and then this last month or so, without any rain or anything else like that, some of the leaves started dying and shit. But then I went out there and I looked, and it's like only half the leaf is dead. Like it was burned.
And
then the rest of it's healthy, but only part of it's brown. Only part of it's dry, like dead, crumbly. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on there? I looked at another thing out here. It was like a thistle bush that I'd cut down, and the little stump of it's still out there, and the ends of it and shit look like they're burned now.
Wow.
So I don't know. Man. Yo,
I just sent you an email with an image of a photo I took with the sun in the clouds, and it's really strange.
Oh wait, this is something else.
Hopefully, I think I got the right email for you.
Taurus Field.
Yep.
Hang on, let me look. Let's see. I got John David Murphy gave me Associated Press fact check. Hang on. It's not showing. Let me double look. And
are you talking about the hue? Like when you change the hue?
I got it. This dumb fucking thing put it over into spam. It does that all the time. It gives me crap, but stuff that I would want, it puts over in spam. I constantly have to look at it. Let me see what we got here. Oh, wow, that's odd. Let me download that and I can bring it up. Did I get it? There it is. Open file. I'm getting pretty good at this shit here. All right. Let me go back over here and I go like this. Like that there. Bam. There it is. That the one you talking about?
Yeah.
We can zoom in.
See those colors?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
No,
the colors.
The sun is not supposed to make a prism color like that, but a white light.
No. The light has to be refracted in order to do that.
The white light can, but the yellow.
I'm just learning about this, but I've never seen anything like that. And this is
some kind of a prism. Some
Yeah.
kind of a prism effect is occurring there.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense because white light hits a prism, it breaks up into its individual colors.
Mm-hmm.
I've
Wow.
also seen this exact effect not behind the clouds or near the sun. It's almost like it was across the horizon from where the actual sun was. So I've seen this a couple of different ways.
What?
You know how we have the what's it called, when the sun's on one side and then on the complete opposite you can see like a second sun almost, but what are they called? Something
Dogs?
rays.
Not sun dogs, but solar rays, right?
Well, it's you know, where you can almost look like you could triangulate where the sun would be on cloudy days sometimes over the ocean.
Right.
Well, it's conspic rays. Damn it. Well, it's exactly like that, but the opposite, to where the sun somehow is reaching all the way across without there being a direct line connected to it. So it's really weird. Yeah. Been seeing a lot of
Wow.
weird things in the sky lately. Yeah.
Yeah, look at this, man. Now this looks kind of like a view from up here in the Blue Ridge Mountains, but it could be anywhere. But this is, maybe he says, but this is kind of weird.
Yeah, anti-corpuscular rays. There you go.
Anti-corpuscular.
So I just finished hiking the Manitou Incline, and I had to video because I was watching the sunrise. And there's these weird objects just floating there and not moving.
What are those?
It's kind of crazy. They've literally been like that for 10 minutes now. Just have no idea.
I'm seeing shit like that.
So I just
I'm
finished
seeing people filming all kinds of crazy shit going on in the sky. What gives? What gives?
This is stuff the government during these elections, they never talk about.
No, they won't. That's what I was saying earlier. Look, both sides are playing you like a fiddle. Both ends against the middle.
Yeah.
Okay. They're both in on this together. They're all in this. They're all one big club. And it's us against them, but they've got us conned into fighting each other. Oh, you're blue, you're red, blah, 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 blah. You like that sock puppet. Oh, yeah, well, you like that sock puppet. Meanwhile, the puppet masters are laughing their ass off because you believe in it.
Yeah.
So divide and
I mean,
conquer.
if proof of if this fake assassination attempt shit hasn't shown that to anybody, the best they can do is one guy ask him, says, "What happened with your fucking ear?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm a real fast healer." And that's it. Nobody asking, and nobody else on it at all. They're going to talk about this tampon Tim guy drinking a gallon of horse cum. And
what?
Yeah, there's a story going around that this dude back in the 80s or something drank a gallon of horse fluid and had to get his stomach pumped or some shit.
Oh my Jesus Christ.
And this is a big thing, but nobody's going, hey, but what about the motherfucker that lied about getting shot in the ear? Nobody's on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't hear about that?
No,
they're saying it's not
God,
true.
what's wrong with these people?
Yeah, I could believe that about any one of them, though. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
I could believe that story about any one of them, if it's true or not, I don't know. But there's
you
a
know
lot
what
of
I believe, so I believe that we put our heads together and they can't defeat us. And all these things we're seeing in the sky, they're trying to confuse us and point us away from that. And there's some kind of mechanism we're barely missing that somehow they're pulling these things off. But I think we can get it if we just really focus on it.
Yeah. I think that's part of that blue beam craziness. I think that's part of it. I really think so. Like, we can't trust these people, man.
Yeah.
Like, they're not going to talk about what's up in the sky. No matter how much you talk to them about it, they're never going to talk about it. And so, yeah, I agree, RG.
Yeah. Yep. I think we are definitely smarter than them. We're just missing the mark, but hey, man, give us enough time. We'll get it.
But my question is, do we have time? Are we out of time? Do we have time?
No, look, it's you. People are trying to paint the barn after it's already burned down. It's over. Okay, you're seeing the death throes of it. It's the beginning is near. Okay, the beginning is near.
Yeah, the system's broken for sure.
Yeah, it's not going to get no better. Nobody's going to be able to fix it.
No.
None of that. It's not.
No.
It's not. It's not fixable.
I think, and you know, Saab, I think that's something that people need to come to grips with, and we need to be honest with, is that none of them is going to fix it. If anybody's going to fix it, it would be us. You know what I'm saying? It would be the people. But even still, people don't understand that they have these powers, that they have the ability to make change, but they're going to leave it in the hands of the quote unquote leadership. And the leadership isn't designed for anything but to tell us bullshit. They can't make a change. They can't fix anything.
No, they did. It's just like every other. Not all fairy tales start with "once upon a time." Most of them start out with "if elected, I will." Okay, so you got to figure. And these people all thinking they're looking for a hero, and they don't. Then they never have one. They never have one. They always think, "Oh, listen to this guy. I really like his hair." You know, I like that guy's hair. I like the way he presents himself on camera. He's well spoken. Yeah, but he says bullshit. Why do you care? What the fuck are you doing? These people are just enamored by a cult of personality.
Yep.
You know, never realizing once that, hey, both those puppets, the same guy has his hand up both their asses. Okay, that's the reality of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people get, you know, that show, there was a TV show called Soap.
Oh yeah, with Billy Crystal.
Right.
And, Robert Guillaume.
Right. Okay, so they had this character on there, Chuck and Bob. Okay, and Bob was a little ventriloquist dummy, right? And it was funny because you'd see the characters. This dummy would say nasty shit, but nobody would realize it was really the ventriloquist saying it. And they would actually try to hit the doll. They would go after, try to choke the fucking doll. But even in reality, they had audio trouble at the very onset of it because the guy with the mic kept trying to put the fucking mic on the puppet instead of on the ventriloquist.
Everybody was fooled.
Everybody was fooled, and that's what they're doing, man. That's yeah. So yeah, that's just to show you. I mean, it's easy. It's easy. It really is, and they take advantage of that, and we don't realize how easy it is, so we fall right for it. You know.
Yep. But it's not like we fall for it once and then it's like, damn, they got us. Well, let's fix ourselves. No, we continue to fall for it over and over. We just got fooled a couple of weeks ago with this whole freaking earshot off nonsense. And we're back at square one to being duped again. They're like, I wonder what they did with those guns that those guys tried to shoot the former president with. It's like, you idiot. He didn't even get shot, you dumb motherfuckers.
Yes.
His whole ear is there.
Yep.
They're just looking at you like.
He was playing golf the next day.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
He was at a UFC match that same day.
And I love the Trumpites. The Trumpites are like, yeah, that's badass.
Yeah, look at him.
I know, right?
And Saab, just like I predicted, man. Saab, just like I predicted, I said, watch. As soon as they have the opportunity, they're going to use that picture with him pumping his fists in the air with that blood on his face. They're going to make flags. They're going to make hats. They're going to make bandanas. They're going to make stickers and all that.
Yeah, that was his campaign poster.
Yes, exactly.
Campaign poster, right?
Yes, so that's what they've
Hey,
done,
but
man.
guys, but you know what I'm excited about, though, man? I know a lot of people probably aren't as outlook the same as mine, but I'm excited because if we can kind of unequivocally prove that what's above our heads is truly metaphysical, that will bring us that much closer to the Creator and maybe put another jolt of electricity into this the next 10 years of if we have that long. That's why I'm excited to
I
get
don't
y'all's
even
outlook on this.
I don't even know
this
if we
thing.
got that long, really. 10 years.
That's
That's
true.
optimistic. That's really highly optimistic, in my opinion. There's Andrew. Speaking of globe cards, what's up, buddy?
Hey, good evening.
What's up, Andrew?
And the thing about the Trump fake shooting, which I've heard absolutely no one talk about, is not necessarily the fact that his ear has no damage to it whatsoever. Why was there a blood splatter on his right cheek when the bullet was going the opposite direction? Was it like a springback effect or something when there's like almost zero blood vessels in that part of the ear?
I guess their excuse for that is when he was down on the ground, the blood dripped and went across his face.
And that's really?
their
That's what they say?
excuse. Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing that's their excuse. That's the excuse I would use if I was trying to run this op.
Yeah, and another thing somebody pointed out was that he had a French cuff in his suit. So his white sleeve from his shirt was sticking out of his suit. And that had zero blood on it while he was pumping his fists. No,
Neither
blood.
his collar. His collar, white collar, had no blood on it either.
No.
And no blood on any of the agents.
This is how you know the other side is on their side. Because even they didn't say, "Hey man, what happened with your ear, dude? Why is
Do you
your
know
ear
what's really
looking so
interesting?
good?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's really
That's how you know
interesting
that-
is that they.
No,
Sorry,
go ahead.
mate, you go.
Well, that's how you know they're just totally full of it. And so you don't get real people up there asking real questions because these people are like, all right, so what about reparations? I'm like, all right, well, we're not getting it. Ain't nobody getting shit. Here's the honest to God's truth. Anything you ask for that makes sense for people to get, right? You're not going to get it. You're just going to have another 4 foul years of somebody else in the seat. You got to start asking the questions that nobody wants to ask. So what the fuck is up with his ear? Why that ear is not problem? Why there's no problems in that ear? Why is it that, you know what I'm saying? All that stuff. Like, why is it that I'm hearing that you guys are actually taking our guns?
Right. Why did you lie?
Yeah.
Why did you lie? None of his supporters are going to ask that either. None of them going to say, wait a second, this son of a bitch lied and acted like he got shot and now everything's good. Wait, I got problems with that, man. They don't have a single problem with it. Not a bit.
No.
It's just like when Bill Clinton, he's under a lot of stress. He deserves to get blowjobs in the Oval Office.
Just a blowjob, yeah.
They just parrot. They just parrot talking points. That's all they do.
Mm-hmm.
The Trumpies have their talking points. The lefties have their talking points. The Cubies have their talking points.
Yep.
And that's all they've got.
And in the end,
I just want to know how the hell how did Mike Tyson get away so quick?
Yeah, right.
Crazy.
How what?
Well, listen, Donald Trump, he posed with a picture right now, cheek to cheek, damn near with Mike Tyson. So he's been risking his ear a lot, Well,
I think the Mike Tyson thing is a bit of a Mandela effect, as far as I'm aware, because some people, including myself, saw that fight live, and Mike Tyson actually bit a small section of his ear off, not very big.
Yeah.
But now that never happened, as far as I've seen.
What?
Wow, what?
No he spat it onto the canvas.
Well, no, he never bit it off. He bit it, but never bit it off.
No, I remember he spit it on the canvas. He spit the ear out.
Okay, because I looked up at some Mandela effects. It may have been misinformation or whatever, but that's what I saw.
Wow.
And
I remember Evander Holyfield jumping up and down, like
upset. That's right. That's right.
He was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, getting hit in the ear is extraordinarily painful because
it's painful.
Like a wrestler like myself, when I did 4 years of wrestling in high school, and
God.
that you have to wear the ear muffs, and that's where a lot of people get like the cauliflower ear.
Yeah,
they get hit in the fucking ear so much when they're doing like
same with rugby.
Yeah, so it's your ears are extraordinarily painful. To get hit in.
Now listen, I actually did get a Trump shot to the ear playing BB gun war in the woods with my friends. I remember I was walking through this low area and I felt something go whack and hit my ear. It didn't penetrate or nothing, but I'll tell you what, boy, that hurt like a son of a bitch. I looked, and that was my brother up on this fucking hill. So I pumped up my pellet gun. I gave it a maximum pump. I drew a bead on my brother. I took a shot, and right as I pulled the trigger, this other kid stood up right in front of him in the grass, and it hit him right in the cheek.
Ooh.
The BB stuck in his cheek, man. And we didn't want to get in trouble, so we were over there trying to pop this BB out of his cheek like a fucking zit and shit.
Yeah, it's like you'll shoot your eye out.
Yeah, right.
That ain't no shit, man. That hurt like a motherfucker. It didn't draw no blood or nothing, but I'll tell you what, that was a sting, boy. It wasn't like he did. No, I'll tell you what, I was like, motherfucker, what the?
Yeah.
That hurt.
He would have run. He would have run off the stage before the Secret Service would have had an opportunity to escort his ass off the fucking stage.
Oh my
Yeah.
Probably would have bolted.
And Dave, you actually showed the Reagan shooting experience where they handled that completely separate. But in this case, I mean, this is getting beaten to death. But essentially, the Secret Service were completely inept, or it was completely staged entirely. And you can show people this information, and then all of a sudden the cog dissonance comes into play, and the conversation just goes into a dead end. And it's just like, oh, wow, okay. You're not
What
opening
about
up-
the other shooter? What about the water tower? They gave you all these little rabbit holes to go down, didn't they? Isn't that convenient? Isn't that convenient?
Hey, Solvin. Yeah, that is too convenient. Hey, Solv, I was just going to ask, since we got so many great minds and 10 sets of eyes up here, do you think I could get y'all's opinion before I got to leave about this possible viable model?
Yeah, let's take a look at it. I'm sorry,
Hey,
I forgot all about that. My bad.
I'd like to hear that too, but RG, you got to do something about your audio jack or something, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut it. Sorry about that.
So let's see what we got here. And this is by who? Free energy. Stars in the firmament explained the Earth as a flat square. Okay.
And this is just a possibility. In the Bible, it does say that there were corners to the circle that was drawn.
Okay.
Just to point that out.
I think those refer to the cardinal directions, but let's check it out.
Basically, different frequencies.
Oh shit, something just hit me, man.
What's that?
Like an LP.
Like a record.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking at first, sure. But what are you thinking?
Yeah, like with that frequency and everything. You know, I've said this before. You know how they've said in so many different cultures they think, you know, they've referred to the stars as sentient beings, that they actually have names of
Right.
sentient beings, right? And even in the Christian tradition, that angels
Yeah.
and the demons are the fallen stars, the fallen angels. A falling star supposedly represents an angel that's fallen, and these
Lucifer.
angels are always shown in choirs or in playing trumpets or musical instruments, you
Yes.
know, of some
Yes.
kind. All right.
I'm
So
sorry.
I got to thinking one day, is what if all the stars are each members of a grand orchestra that plays this frequency reality into
There you go.
fruition?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you read exactly what you said, if you read this book called The Silmarillion, called J.R.R. Tolkien,
Yeah, I know.
that's
Yeah, he said that
exactly
was an actual. He actually said that was a actual ancient history of Europe.
yes, that's
Tolkien did.
what
Yeah.
yeah. And so he said in the beginning there was the music.
Yes.
And so that's how pretty much the stars in the beginning, like kind of like what you said in the beginning.
Do you know
What's
who
the word?
Kokopelli? Do you know who Kokopelli is?
No, Kokopelli.
Okay, you've probably seen the Navajo drawing of the guy with the flute. He's playing the flute, dancing along, playing with the flute. That's Kokopelli. It's very popular in the Southwest.
And they circle around the fire. Yes.
Yeah, and the idea was that Kokopelli played the universe into existence. Let me see if I can find it.
That's kind of where when God spoke each day, he spoke certain things. And then at the end of what he spoke into existence, he saw that it was good and then it was complete.
Yes.
Yeah, the Silmarillion, I've never actually read more than about maybe 10 pages of it.
It's
There's a
hard.
lot of people-
Listen, I was one time, but the thing is, I was on non-judicial punishment, so I had nothing else to do, and every day I read that book. And so page 75 is where it actually picks up. It's around.
Oh, you were in
70
the
pages
service?
in. Yeah, I was Navy. I'm retired Navy.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm Navy too. I got a fucking anchor on my arm.
All right. Yeah.
That's Kokopelli.
Right on. So, yeah, I got 2 NJPs for the same thing. Never got.
I had an NJP right before I retired. But my first NJP, I retired 2 years ago. But my first NJP, I read the Silmarillion, and that's what they like. Them first 75 pages is hard strictly because of the language, but I'll never forget the beginning of that book. It was the music. It was the music, and it was their main god. I forget his name, but their main god was there, and he wanted to make sure that the music was in sync. And basically, he was like the maestro of the choir.
Yeah, I'm putting that book on my list to buy right now.
Yeah, the Silmarillion. It's once you start getting into it, you're gonna read it again.
Let's see what he says on the rest of this. Let's see where he's going with this. There's art. See you in a Coon's age art. What's going on, buddy?
This is representative of your universe being displayed onto a flat surface.
So one of the biggest problems I have with this to start with is that we don't have any observable stellar parallax. In other words, there's no parallax between any of the stars ever. And in a model like this, there would be from a stationary viewpoint on the ground with what's going on here. Also, this would indicate that there's different distances from the standard viewpoint. And I'm sorry, once you got one in focus, they're all in focus, which indicates that they're all the same distance. So it's kind of cool, but I don't know. I want to war game this in my head more.
Yeah, I had to do the same thing, bro.
This is almost as bad as the little net you put a ball in.
Say again.
When they always trying to show the bending space time.
Yeah,
that thing.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's I think just the first time you look at it, it kind of it doesn't show the connection of how the northern hemisphere from the equator up and then the equator down. It's later in the video when it gets to that point. So at first it doesn't really make much sense until it all ties together. But you'll see it.
I think it's all projected from the north, man. I really do. I think it's all projected from the north. I think this fucking thing is exactly like a planetarium and the projector's right in the middle of the room. I really do.
Yeah, and that's kind of what's showing. It just doesn't give you the height, you know. But yeah. Kind of like a treadmill unfolding. Yeah.
Put something up on the Rufus Nigra. You've got a projector on the Rufus Nigra. That would be phenomenal. You know, and who's to say we can't go there?
Yep.
And this is another thing too. How come when we get to a certain altitude, we can't see the fucking stars anymore? What's up with that?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right.
That's crazy.
Right.
Cool. Yeah.
This one no problem. All finished.
Oh, hey, Sub. One last thing. Before it, just one other thing before it. We continue. Hey, so if you were standing directly under this where celestial sphere, so to say, in the middle, you would actually see clockwise and counterclockwise movements simultaneously for the north and south. That's the cool part about this model.
Well, that thing, what they claim this counterclockwise rotation in the south is just a merely of due to viewpoint.
Illusion.
You know, if
Yeah,
you're looking
yeah.
south, then it's going to go from your left to your right. If you're looking north, it's going to go from your right to your left. It's still going east to west. East and west don't change directions.
That's right. And this is how you know those globe people are so disingenuous, because you try to explain this to them. We show them the model, right? The the Gleasons or the Hammond's map where south is, and those of us or those folks that are standing in the south and can't see the North Pole, well, they're going to look at the Southern Cross, and then the Southern Cross is going to do something totally different. And people just don't get it. They don't get that, hey, it's gonna spin different from
It's
there.
going to look different, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the thing is, too, is the reason is that these stars are not as high and as far away as they're telling you. That's why you don't see them. Like after you get to the equatorial line, Polaris, the only stationary star, is no longer visible.
Is it from the equator?
What's that?
Is it from the equator that you can't see Polaris, or is it further?
Yeah, because that's where the numbers start going the other way when you start going south.
Yeah. But
so those latitudes are your elevation angles of view of Polaris. That's how those latitudes were established. So when you're at latitude 45, Polaris is at a 45-degree angle to your viewing point.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And the cool thing is, if you were to be at 0 degrees and look straight up 90 degrees above your head and snap a picture, you wouldn't see Polaris or the Southern Cross. You would just see that divider line that's connecting all of it, which is pretty cool.
So when you get to the, and that's one of the problems they had with Southern navigation, is because now what do you have? You have new constellations that are moving with nothing stationary as a reference point. So now you're going strictly by movement and how long it took to move in relation to where you're at. And so they were having all kinds of problems establishing the meridian south of the equator, especially in the ocean.
Wow.
Yeah. It was really
that was tough. If you lost view of that northern star,
it brought us the quartz clock. Okay. That was developed over them trying to figure that out by trying to develop a method of timekeeping aboard a ship that would be accurate.
Hey, real quick, guys. Thank you very much for having me on, Dave. And
right on.
I got to. I got to start class again in about 20 minutes, so I have to answer a whole bunch of texts and emails and bullshit like that.
Oh
but anyways, thank you very much for having me on. I will join in again whenever I can. Have a great night, everyone.
Andrew, have a good night, bro.
Yeah, man.
Have a good night, bud.
So anyway, we'll get there. We only got about 2 minutes left in this. So it's like Pac-Man.
What's that?
So it works like Pac-Man. What's going on?
From one side and then you just restart on the other side?
Yeah, it's like, looks like Pac-Man. You go out that side of the board and you come in on this side. I don't think so.
On a Mercator map.
Yeah, I hate the Mercator. No. No. No, we're not. That's no. Sorry.
Yeah, that's only
on a
it's
Mercator.
only
A Mercator is the worst fucking representation that there is. It really is. It's second only to a globe.
Definitely food for thought, though.
It is. It is. It gets you looking at it. I mean, until we can actually dissect what the fuck is going on up there. Come on. The one thing I do know is it's very close. They're all the same distance, despite what their magnitude of brightness are. Because let's face it, you bring one into focus, everything's in focus. How is that possible?
If we had access to the north, and we could see what the hell is going on up there, then possibly maybe we can have a better understanding of what the hell we're seeing up in the sky. Maybe
that's a good point. Let's see if we can't convince Smiling Bob, preacher Smiling Bob, there about maybe we can get a trip go to the north instead.
Yeah, instead.
You know, that'd be cool. Fuck the sun. Let's go find that big black rock. Let's go do that.
Take us to G.
There you go. There you go.
So yeah, I know that guy is so full of shit. So full of shit as a Christmas goose. I swear to God. I'm like, I'm like, I can't believe it. It's like, okay, wait a second. This isn't suspect at all. This is just, what it's being presented as. I can't believe people actually are buying it, to start with. At least I know that in the flat earth community, we've had the good sense to have critical thinking about it.
They put him, I think, I almost feel as if he's a sacrificial lamb to some degree, because it's like he doesn't know what he's talking about.
No.
Like, when we asked him and we pressed him, he's saying these things. I'm like, does he know what he signed these people up for? Does he know what's going to be? Does he, like, I could see maybe all of us in the flat earth community we don't believe the same things, exactly the same things, and that's fine. But the foundation of it all, yes, is the place flat. Does it not move? Fine. It's the sun to a, it's circuit. Yes, we agree with these things, right? The bare basics. Like, he doesn't understand the concepts. It sounds like the concepts is what's evading him. And so I'm wondering, I'm like, damn, does he know, or was he put up to it?
Right? He was put up to it.
Yeah.
He obviously was put up to it because he's done zero research.
Yeah.
Okay. He's done zero research. And to go and spend that kind of money without doing any research tells me two things. Somebody put you up to it, and it's not your fucking money.
Yep.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah.
Good point.
And it's not your money.
I admit that. And guys, the only reason I even wanted to show this or to you guys to introduce the idea is just because we have never 100% seen what's north or south, and that's kind of what that map shows. Like we only see east or west,
Yep. We have a good understanding of what's east west. 60 degrees south, like almost 60 degrees north, but we really don't know. We don't know. And with all the stuff that they're doing in the sky these days, we really don't know what the hell's going on.
Oh my God. It's like they're purposely trying to keep you from being able to see the sky.
Exactly. And they've been running these chemtrails for quite some time. Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And this is something that I'm like, listen, if you're going to ask these fucking dick suckers excuse my language, in the dang White House running for office, if you're going to ask these motherfuckers anything, You have to ask them real questions. Why are you poisoning the sky?
Right.
Why is there this sun craziness and this and that? Because these people, if they don't know, then that's a problem. Then we know we have to look past them and we have to ignore them and we have to focus on something different. But we have to ask like the real hard questions. And nobody's doing that. Like I'm listening to all these, I'm listening to the Tucker Carlsons, I'm listening to the Candace Owens, I'm listening. Yeah, all these guys are they're all the same thing. They try to make it seem as if this is alternative news. It's like, no, this is all fucking thing, man.
Yeah, it's all part of the same fucking propaganda machine.
Yeah,
you
they're
see,
all
and yeah. Listen, that's the whole thing, man. And even when it comes up to, you know, Donald Trump versus whoever, that's all a big fucking show. They're all in on this shit together.
Yeah.
This guy's not even president, and the president of fucking Israel comes and visits him. Why? What's up with that?
Yep. With
Right?
the perfect ear working like a motherfucker.
Yep. And here we are just a short time later, and we got ships steaming off at the behest of this asshole to go fight another one of their fucking wars. Rattling sabers with Iran, wanting to get a shit started with Iran. Here we go. And they get
They're trying to keep us discouraged and our eyes off the prize, man, as long as they can until they get us in another war, man, and build another fucking oil pipe overseas. That has nothing to do with us. They don't even let us grow food on our own land, bro. Like,
Exactly.
it's fucking crazy, man.
Exactly. I remember this was a problem when I was living in Hawaii back in 2015. I was trying to explain to my sailors. I was like, look, man, I was like, they're starting this Monsanto can't grow your food on your property here first. I was like, give it a couple of years, give it a year or two. They're going to start doing this on the mainland. And people are like, no, they're not. They're not going to be able to pass that. I said, just the fact that they're mentioning it, just the fact that there's a conversation about it means that they've already put this into play. And they're looking forward to actually removing the opportunity for Americans to go ahead and grow food on their own property.
Yeah, bro, they're gonna starve us on our own fucking land, bro, if we ain't careful. If we quit the company, we take our kids out of school. If we just quit paying taxes, do all the main things, and just buck the fucking system, and let's see where it goes. I mean, I'm not saying that in a bad way, but I don't want to see my kids or my grandkids suffer, man. But hey, guys, with that said, I gotta run. I gotta hit the bed and get up early in the morning. Love y'all. Thank you for letting me present that, brother.
Right on, RG. Thanks for coming on. We're gonna go about
See you
another.
later, mate.
We'll go another.
Hoorah,
15
man.
minutes, and then we'll shut her down and myself here. But yeah, this
I got
is
you.
all part of the fucking game.
Yeah.
And it only works if you play it, man. It
That's
only
right.
works if you play it. You
Now,
can't play chess if the pieces are missing.
That's my thing. That's right. And you want to know something? I highly recommend people know how to do super basic shit. Super basic shit. Start a fire, know how to start a fire, build a shelter, and clean water. Like for if anything, I should have said clean water. First and foremost, clean water, right? Know how to gather water, how to harness water, how to boil water, how to clean water. So you can drink it and do other things with it, but you need clean water. And if they stop anything just to twist our arms, it will be with the water source. They will find a way to attack, which I'm sure they've already done it, right? They'll find a way to attack the water sources, starve you out of or thirst you out of getting clean and having access to clean water. So always have stuff on standby. And like I have stuff on standby, man. Like, because I don't trust the system. I don't know when, I don't know where, but I have very, very small trust in this system because I could see them doing it to us. They have the penchant to do it to us. You can't trust them. Clean water, y'all.
Yeah, man. I got two Berkey water filters, man. I got a big one and then I've got a small one. And I've got life straws. So I'm good with that. I got survival food. I've invested in precious metals, primarily brass, lead, and copper. So those are, brass, lead, and copper in the form of ammunition. Those are some of the most precious
Oh,
metals right there.
I was like, yeah, that's right. That's
Yep.
right.
Brass.
Ammosquared.com, y'all. Ammosquared.com.
That's it. This is they closed the Olympics now. They had the closing ceremony. This was from the closing ceremony. Check this out. From what I could see, nobody really gave a shit. They made fun of the opening ceremony. There was a to-do about, you know, because we now have domestic violence as an Olympic sport. And I guess some the swimmers got sick in the heavily polluted Seine River. And yeah. And our American ping pong champion team was all Chinese.
What?
Yeah, man. Our entire Olympic ping pong team was Chinese.
We got to do better. Wait, you know what? I'm not even going to say we got to do better. It's over.
Yeah, it's over. It is. It's like you can't paint the barn because it's already burned the fuck down. Okay, you're trying to paint smoldering rubble. This thing is done. It's over. Stop. You got these people, you know, they're going, oh, well, it'll buy us time. And if we get Trump, then it'll give us a little bit more time. Bitch, listen, how much more time do you need, man? Rip the fucking Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
Okay, just rip the fucking Band-Aid off and let's get on with this shit, you know?
Trump and them have a plan.
Hope
Trump
that
and
it's
all
going
them
to be.
all have a plan.
I mean, these people are, like I said, the analogy of the burnt down barn. There's smoldering fucking ashes sitting there, and these people are putting water on it thinking they're going to be able to paint it once they put it out. Okay, it's too fucked up to fix. It has to be rebuilt. It has to be destroyed and rebuilt. You sat on your laurels and let these fucking demons do what they've done.
Yep.
So you know that what Thomas Jefferson said about the tree of liberty? Yeah, guess what? It's watering time.
Yeah.
Okay, it's watering time. The tree of liberty needs to be watered, obviously, because these people are going overboard. And if we keep letting it go and you keep giving them an inch, they take a mile. What's the next thing? You already let them lock you in your house. You let them take your job away. You let them shut down your fucking economy. You let them create a problem, and then to fix it, you let them take a massive fucking loan in your name, high interest, fluctuating interest in the form of $6.2 trillion. And you got $300. Ooh.
Yep. Here's your cut. Here's mine.
And you're responsible for the whole fucking debt.
Yep.
There you go. You let that happen. You allowed that to happen. You made it happen. You know how you made it happen? You keep going and voting for these fucking idiots. Don't vote. It just encourages them.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know what it's going to take before these fucking people realize this shit is no good. This shit is no good. It's rotten from the fucking core. You can't fix it. It's over. And just because you got some guy, I mean, even your big hero is a goddamn liar. Oh, look at me. I've been shot in the ear. Everybody believe this. Here's some rabbit holes. Look, second shooter. Tower, water tower, blah, blah, blah. Motherfucker, this shit was fake. How'd your ear heal up? What's up? I want to talk about the fucking ear, Donnie. I want to talk about why'd you lie to everybody? Why is the media lying to everybody? Why is your opponents not even asking you about that? They're all over the guy with the horse comb, but nobody's saying, hey, what about the guy with the Jesus ear?
Yep.
Come on, man. You got to know it's fake with that. If I was his opponent, I would be calling that shit out all over the place. Look at this motherfucker lied about getting shot. Where's the bullet wound at? Where's the bullet? No, the best they can come up with, oh, your guy drank horse cum.
Yeah. Yep.
Like fucking 10th graders or some shit, you know?
Yep.
You know, they do it on purpose.
Oh, yeah, of course. They're totally doing it on purpose.
It's so they make it so obviously fake because they know that most people are so brainwashed, either side, left or right, that they're going to buy it. And each time they pull one of these things off, they make it more and more ridiculous. And they know that we're the only ones who can see it. And they're just laughing.
JP says politics won't save us. Flat Earth won't save us. Mandela won't save us. Only the Messiah can save us. Well, I hope you realize that they gave the Messiah crown to Donald Trump.
Yeah. But it was the synagogue of Satan that crowned him. So let's remember that.
But they're God's chosen people, Vlad. Come on. So which God and chosen for what?
Right. Yeah.
Because I know it wasn't Yahweh. It wasn't the creator God. I know that because I know the blessing was not passed to Judah. It was passed to Joseph because Judah sold Joseph into slavery. So the blessing was passed to Joseph, not to Judah. Problems.
Yeah, man, we keep giving these people power, and you're right, man. That is totally our fault. But then, I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna talk with my parents about it, and then they're gonna talk about the election. They're so far removed from the actual truth. I'm like, you know what, you guys, well, 30 years from now, it won't matter for you. Unfortunately, I hate to have to talk like that. I have to speak, but speaking on my parents' behalf, it's like, man, you guys need to. After a while, you guys are going to have to step aside because if you don't see this bullshit for what it is, that's what it is. Even good people can't see the deception. The good people can't see it.
No.
Sometimes something bad has to happen to someone personally or someone very close for them to wake up.
Yes, because it's the comfort. And even during these uncomfortable times, people are still too comfortable and too docile. And then they're like, well, I have an elected official for that to speak on my behalf. But the only problem is that your elected official is also bought and paid for. So you can't trust them either. You can't trust it. It sucks, man. The whole system is just ruined. The whole system is no good. Like the only thing you can rely on is your neighbor. The only thing you can rely on is your community and your family. That's it. And hope that your community, your neighborhood could band with the next and adjacent community and neighborhood next door. Here's the problem that we come across is that we have these damn illegal aliens that are coming in here, and they're going to be used to serve the purpose of the government alongside AI and everything else like that, because they don't have they have no skin in the game, not here in the United States, right? They could come here, they could disrupt everything, they could be these criminals and all these offenders and stuff, and that's why they're not being arrested, because they're being used for a purpose. So when it's time for us, when it's time for people like us, I'm sorry, this isn't sedition or anything else like that, but there are going to be people out there that are going to turn up. They're going to use those people, those criminals, the MS-13s, this one, that one. Yeah.
It's kind of like when they opened up Arkham Asylum and let them all live just free out into Gotham City. What happened, right?
Yeah.
Chaos, order out of chaos. This is right here is Vlad's message in a nutshell.
I'm scared, Dad.
Do you trust me, son?
Yes.
Come on, son. Rule number 1, never trust anybody.
Yeah.
You really gotta vet it. You really gotta vet it. Yep. This is, and here again with trust, right? Here's the Senate Committee on State Affairs and regarding the jab. Listen to this shit.
What was it? And have you seen any other vaccine that was put out for the public that skipped the animal test?
Never before, especially for children.
And as what I've read, they actually started the animal test, and because the animals were dying, they stopped the test.
Right.
Folks, I think that's important to understand there, that what we're talking about is American people are now the guinea pigs. This is the test program that's going on. They didn't do the human testing, and they stopped the animal test because the animals were dying. And then they turned it out for the public. And
they stopped the animal testing because the animals were dying, but they didn't stop using what was making the animals die. They just started using it on people instead.
Is
Yeah,
this
What?
well,
C-SPAN? Is this
yeah, but
C-SPAN?
they're only animals. So,
Yeah.
you know, humans are much stronger than animals. So I'm
Luca.
okay. I've had it, and I'm just fine.
Yeah. Oh, I've had it. You've had. What are you worrying about? You've had a million shots, haven't you? Been vaxxed? So let me guess. You're one of these anti-vaxxers, right? You hear
Yeah,
this shit
exactly.
all the fucking time, and this is my thing. It's like this. Here's another reason why you as a taxpayer in this country, should lose your fucking mind. Here's another fucking reason.
Yeah. I mean, am I an anti-vaxxer? What does that mean? Am I against you getting a vaccine? That's your
Well,
business.
yeah, you know how people say it. They're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, what? So what? Now you're a fucking anti-vaxxer? Oh yeah, you've had a million of these." And here's what everybody's logic was when I was in the service, right? They were like, "Chief, I heard you didn't get the shot again," because that's what it was. There was no such thing as Hippocratic oath at this point, right? And I'm like, "No." They were like, "Well, you've taken every other shot. Why don't you take this one?" I said, "I've got my reasons." You took it? They're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Okay, just keep on living. Just keep on living. You'll find out. Give it a few more
Yeah.
years." Right. And so
Right.
now it's come to a point to where even that fucking shot, these people see the proof of what it is. They know
Mhm.
they know it was bullshit, but they're like, "Oh well, that happened already." Then they can't do it again because COVID is not a big thing anymore.
Right.
This is the problem,
Well,
man. People are too fucking comfortable.
you know what they're finding out now? The only people that are getting it are the people that got the shot. And I'm like, well,
Well, it's one of
okay.
the symptoms. It's one of the symptoms. It's listed in the Pfizer's the 1,000 different side effects is COVID-19, SARS-CoV-19.
We got to stop calling them side effects. They're effects. They're not side effects. They're effects. Just because it wasn't your intention with it, it's nevertheless, those are the effects. And listen, I'm just saying, I went along this way. I trust God and I trust what God gave me. Okay. And God gave me an immune system. He gave me a functioning body. And this is remarkable. It has the ability to heal itself. It's really cool. All you have to do is just give it the ingredients. All you have to do is just give it the building blocks, and it does the rest all on its own, man. Really fucking cool.
American technology swears up and down. They suck their own fucking dick. And these guys swear up and down with their technology, but yet if a part of your body gets sick, instead of repairing it, they try to destroy it.
Yeah.
They try to
Well,
remove it. Oh, let's just
they
get
gotta
rid of your
remove.
contents. Yeah.
It's
Let's just
because
get rid of your appendix.
they treat symptoms and not patients.
Yeah. They don't treat anything. And then what if God forbid you get like the serious sickness that starts with a C, they just want to give you more poison just to get rid of something that's poison in your body. And that can ultimately kill you. They just want to give you more poison. So I'm just sitting there like, we haven't learned anything. You know what I'm saying? And our medical systems is so corrupt, in fact, that they don't want us learning for ourselves. Because even if you look at a lot of these countries like your African countries, a lot of your countries in the Caribbean, and some countries in South Asia, like India, right? A lot of these guys found a way to stay away from getting COVID-19. A lot of them didn't get the cocoa. They didn't get the shot.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then people are wondering, they're like, well, why didn't they get sick? And I'm like, notice how they didn't get that fucking shot.
Yeah.
They're the only ones that didn't get it.
Well, even before any of that, people would ask me, say, did you get your flu shot? And I'm like, no, I don't want to get the flu. I mean, that was my response, because I was noticing that everybody that got the flu shot had ended up fucking sick. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense to me. Why would I go down there and get that to be sick? I'm fine. I haven't gotten this in a long, what is going on with you people? Why is everybody so sick? And here's the thing and this is what gets you. Like YouTube. I'll be watching it on the TV and these damn ads come up. And it's always for fucking Medicare or for some kind of insurance or something to do with healthcare. And I'm like, I go to the store and it's like the whole front of the parking lot is reserved for crippled people. And I'm like, wait a minute, why are there saying you go to Walmart or something? There's all these fucked up people with mobility carts and walkers and all this other shit. And I'm looking at and I'm thinking to myself, why are there so many sick fucking people? What
They're not
is
even
going
that old.
on?
They're not even that old.
I mean, it was when I was a kid, that kind of thing was rare. It was rare to see an obese person. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
rare.
Mhm.
It really was. In fact, if you saw an obese person, I can remember as a kid, it was such an oddity. Your mom would have to like grab your hair and say, "Don't stare," like jerk you aside and say, "Don't stare," because they knew, there's a big fat guy. Everybody knows it. Now it's like everybody.
It's like
It's
that,
everybody. I see these people on these mobility carts going through the store, their ass cheeks hanging off the side, looking like saddlebags, and they're filling their fucking cart up with all the shit that made them like that.
Exactly. Yep. Legs purple from a lack of circulation and everything. Yeah, man.
Yes. So now it's become to the point. I mean, you go to the city of Harrisonburg. If it doesn't belong to the college, I mean, it's like there's medical shit everywhere. Specialists for every part of the body. The hospital nearby that advertises. Why would a hospital need to fucking advertise? Isn't that a place that you try to stay the fuck away from unless you absolutely you got some kind of a trauma situation and you need it taken care of? They're going to take you to the nearest hospital. Are you now going to have to rely on brand name for quality of care? I mean, what the fuck is going on?
All done by
It's
design.
insane. I've joked. I've said I could blindfold somebody and spin them around, take them to any random part of Harrisonburg, spin them around blindfold and have them throw a rock. And the chances that they hit some kind of fucking thing connected to the medical industry is so great I could make money off of it. You got an eye doctor over here. You got a dentist over here. You got a urologist here. Over here's a kidney specialist. Over here's a fucking left toe specialist. Over here's a right pinky specialist. Over here's a fucking scalp specialist. Over here's a fucking dick specialist. It's like everybody's specializing in every little part of the body and not specializing in the patient.
Yep. A proper diet, man, and some exercise could alleviate like 95% of your problems.
Positive. I want you to take a look at something. Anytime you get a chance, go ahead and go on over and take a look at good old Sean Hawkins. He's known for his happiness and niceness, right? The man is a vile, evil creature, right? Take a look at him. He looks like an evil, vile creature because that's the energy he puts out. The man looks like he's got the fucking AIDS because he's got so much hate and rage inside of him. That ain't no shit.
Ouch.
I mean, it's for real. I mean, it's like a great deal of it has to do with your attitude and your outlook on things.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
And the vibes you put out. That's right.
That's absolutely true. This is why it's even exemplified in movies and shit. Why do you think, like, look at Palpatine in Star Wars, right? When he was just Senator Palpatine, he was just an old guy, right? He's just an old guy. He didn't look evil or nothing like that. But as he got increasingly evil, he got more and more increasingly ugly.
Yeah.
This is just like the whole thing about the ugly old wicked witch, right? Why is she ugly? It's because of the wickedness makes you that way, man.
Mm-hmm. And she even got green, man. Green with envy or something.
Yeah. So there's a lot to that. And you got it's your outlook on shit, and constantly what you've got is this system playing on your trust, playing on your gullibility, and at the same time feeding you all kinds of dumb shit to be afraid of.
Yep. So it's like we're being spit roasted.
Yeah.
We're getting it in the top, we're getting it in the bottom. So it's like If you're
broiled.
not getting it, if you're not getting it as a physical thing, it's getting put into your eyes through the TV, through the things
Yeah.
that you watch, through the things that you listen to. You're getting poisoned on both ends,
Right.
and like people don't know how to tune out that shit, right?
Now,
And my
if
thing is
you
like, you need to. I think people should tune out of that and tune into things like this, to where we make you aware of it. Like, you need to be aware of this stuff in order to
Yeah.
combat it.
And look, as far as this inflation and shit, if you think that whoever you put in the Oval Office, or you think you put in the Oval Office, has anything to do with being able to make that go down, you're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Okay? Everybody's favorite guy, our Lord and Savior Jesus Trump. Let's not forget about the $6.3 trillion fucking stimulus package that he signed into. Where the fuck do you think $6.3 trillion came from? Do you even have a concept as to how much that actually is?
So, Dave,
Okay, he signed. Hold on, he signed to help you from economic woes that he created by shutting everything down, all this other crap, right? They created the problem, and then as a solution took out a massive loan at an adjustable high interest rate in your name at the tune of $6.3 trillion. You got $300 for it, and you're liable for the entire fucking loan amount. Now, where's the inflation coming from? What? Oh, that's right. In Russia, attached the ruble to gold, and they got the BRICS nations online. This means that oil producing nations are dumping Federal Reserve notes back into the U.S. economy, furthering the hyperinflation. What's the president going to do about that? Nothing. He can't do anything about it because the monetary system is completely out of his fucking control.
He can
Nice one.
He can make money off of it, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But
I was going
because
to ask
we're
if you guys are registered to vote by chance.
Fuck no.
That was a joke.
you know,
No
they
way.
can
I
have
don't
their
give my
fucking vote,
consent
man.
for this bullshit. Not for a
Yeah.
minute, man. Not for a
They're
minute.
not going to address the fucking problems that we know are here. Everybody
Yeah.
thinks it's this money shit, man. The money thing, that ship has sailed, man. That's not the problem. You
No,
still have
you should've-
poisoned water. They haven't fixed that fucking problem in Flint, Michigan. I haven't heard nobody say nothing about that.
Nope.
And the problem with that, see, the problem with things like Flint, Michigan, and Alabama and Mississippi and their water problems is that these water problems, if they're not already in places that haven't experienced it yet, they're going to be there. They're going to be there. And so American people are going to be like, oh, wow, what the fuck happened? I'm going to be like, well, motherfucker, it's because of shit like Flint, Michigan. You didn't pay attention to it. It's because of things like Mississippi, the problems that they had with their water and infrastructure. You didn't ask those dopes in the White House the right questions. You want to ask about bullshit that they can't do anything about.
Right.
Really,
So
they
does
can't
anybody
do anything about the water crisis either, to be honest with you.
Does anybody remember the Corexit they poured into the Gulf of Mexico during the oil crisis?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
They
are you talking about the oil spill that happened in like 2010?
When they blew the rig down there.
Yeah.
flooded
And then
the
they said, yeah, we put a
Gulf.
cap on it. And I'm like, huh?
Yeah, huh? Yeah, they came up with a thing called Corexit, which actually supposedly brought the oil to the surface, and they skimmed it off. But it went into the water, and people were drinking it, and the health issues that they got from just drinking the water in the Gulf of Mexico area, it was horrible. People were getting all kinds of leukemias and cancers and all kinds of stuff just from drinking the chemical in the water. It's messed up, yeah. And it's the same company that Rumsfeld actually owned that came up with the whole solution problem thing, and they funneled that money into, I guess, 9/11. They might say that was speculated that a lot of the money they got from the government they pushed back into it. They used to pull off that fateful day in September 11th.
See,
that's what I've heard. Yeah.
See, we put way too much stock in these people, and we
No,
don't
they're
hold
politicians.
Yeah, we don't hold them accountable, and then the people that are telling them what to do, we don't hold them accountable. I think it's high time that like we sit there, we let them say their piece, and then we're like, "Are you done? Good. Well, pack your shit because we got someplace for your ass to go because you through. You're done." Like people aren't going to do that, and this is like it's way past time that we've done that. We can't listen to these motherfuckers no more, man. Because like I'm talking about I'm not just talking about our elected officials. I'm talking about all of them. All of them need to go. All of them are kicking this can down the road and just allowing this bullshit to happen. It's and it's our fault as a people.
And our representatives are easily bought, dude.
Yes, and the scripture says that a wicked nation gets wicked leadership. A wicked nation gets wicked leadership.
Well, Christ, we got Lucifer right in the fucking New York Harbor, standing there. Okay, and people going, "Oh, look at that lovely lady." That ain't a lady. God bless it. That's Lucifer. That's a dude. Lucifer was the most beautiful of all of God's angels. You know what? Also, you know what his profession was. You know what he did. He was a musician. Right.
He was in charge of the
And
band.
he's playing a song. He's playing a song right now that too many people are following, just like the gosh dang Pied Piper. It's like the Pied Piper leading all you child minds off into oblivion is what's going on.
Yep.
You got to stop listening to it. You got to stop listening
Satan
to it.
Satan uses the music industry.
That's
his favorite tool. Hey, by the way, I sent. Did any of you guys see the interview that Nachikata did with the music conspiracy guru?
No, I didn't catch that one.
Maybe for another show. I sent he does all those.
I know who he is. Music.
Oh, you know, okay, great, yeah.
He did the theme music for our Mystery NASA Theater 420 on Jeranism. We do that on Wednesday nights. That'll be tonight, or Wednesday night here at 4:20 Pacific time, which is 7:20. But he's always late, so it usually starts 7:30 to 7:40. But yeah, he took the old Mystery Science Theater song and then changed the lyrics around to it and mixed it, and it incorporates stuff about flat Earth and with us. And then he's got a reggae tune for it intermission, talking about they're waiting on us because we're off smoking weed and shit. So.
I have got to get moving because I've got work in a couple of hours.
That's what I got to do too. I got to get off here as well, man. I got to people coming roofers tomorrow and all kinds of fun shit. So,
but tomorrow's going to be Truer Tuesday on my end. You're probably going to have something tomorrow, Saab, and I'll probably visit.
Yep. Always on Tuesday. We have something.
Oh yeah. All right, family.
We started that with Tinfoil Hat Tuesday 2 years ago. And what it was we had it. So we'd even have a contest to see who had the best tinfoil hat. And you actually make a tinfoil hat. And I had one, man, with antennas on it. And
I like it. It's a nice hat.
Yeah. We should do it again. Get everybody to make a tinfoil hat and come on and show your best stuff. That would be kind of cool.
I dig it. All right, family. Well, I got to bounce. But
yep. Have a good night, Ironworks. Thanks for coming up, Vlad.
See you later.
All right.
Later, Dave.
Peace, Raj. You'll have a good night.
You too.
Bye.
All right, peace.
Bye.
All right, guys. I think this is about a good time to say good night too. I went about 15 minutes longer than I expected to, so that's cool. But anyway, as we like to always say here, don't forget the Lord loves the working man. Don't trust Whitey, and see your doctor and get rid of him because he'll probably fucking kill you. So with that, good night, everybody.